I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you, Tyler.
Ballot. Bus. Damn. Bus. I told her to bust some, cut some. I'm on the list, bitch. Mikey Rocks plus some. Hopping out that Beamer like a fucking politician on the floor of the arena, cause I got bad vision. Putting my prescription in the lenses of the A's. When my bag get the juking like her ass when the music finna play. Biggest spenders couldn't spend it in a day. Man, I'm swagging on Bobby, probably make him wanna rob me, but I'm the black JFK. In the club with the clique, I'm straight, I'm great. We poppin' Zan, sippin' Remy, and we stay up late. And if them girls try to fuck me, I'ma say okay. Biz is all these spiders. Thankful mine's higher. Life, I've been a real nigga, I will till I expire. Tell the truth, turn the devil to a liar. You ain't never seen a nigga get flyer. I met a bad bitch, say she do porn.
What's up, gang? Today is January 29th, the year of our Lord, 2021. And I'm not having fun. No. And I understand that this is an unprecedented consecutive number of weeks where minimal fun is had. But I'm not having fun. I wouldn't lie to you all. At least, not till first of the month. But I wouldn't lie to you all. And I'll tell you why I'm not having fun. Hank Aaron passed this week. It feels like old news kind of at this point with as fast as the internet moves. And I almost thought about not even really discussing them. I was like, what can I say that hadn't already been said? But I also would have felt remiss if I didn't just bring up, what a legend, what an icon he is in the sport of baseball in the city of Atlanta. Like, when he passed, it was multiple adults I saw like crying, like in tears. And these are people in or around my age, meaning that we didn't see Hank Aaron play. Like, that's what he meant to the team. That's what he meant to the city. And honestly, I feel like I've known Hank Aaron more as like a businessman. Like, you go somewhere and you see like the Hank Aaron dealership. He got restaurants. He got all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I had all kind of stuff. Yeah. So I'll talk about Hank briefly. Not too much. Fire name alert. Hank Aaron. Like, come on, dude. Like, right from the jump, the man was destined for some kind of greatness. Great nickname, Hammerin' Hank. He also played in great jerseys. You look at the old Braves jerseys and the Brewers joints and the 44 on the back. It's delicio, man. Just a great aesthetic all around. And the thing that I know about hitting 755 home runs is that often I will create a player on MLB The Show video game and see if I can get them there. They very rarely get there. And again, this is a video game. Controlled climate, you know what I'm saying? That, or I try to get like Ronald Acuna Jr. to it. I think I've got him to it literally like once. And when I tell you that he just barely made it past the finish line, buddy. So it's impossible in video games. Nonetheless, real life, you know what I'm saying? The peaks just never last long enough. So of the 20 home run, or I think 20 seasons of 20 plus home runs. I feel like every great stat about him has been recited. So I did want to talk about something different related to Hank Aaron. And it was a tweet this week from Jeff Passan, who is, he covers Major League Baseball. I'm not sure if it's for like ESPN or Major League Baseball or, whoever. And this was just one of them. So I'm picking on him because he did say it, but I'm not picking on him because he wasn't the only one that said it. Jeff Passan said, quote, Hank Aaron was a true American hero. Raised in the Jim Crow South. He capitalized Jim Crow and South. I'll let you know it was serious business. You know what I mean? Raised in the Jim Crow South. He ignored hatred as he ignored hatred as he conquered baseball. Now, conquered the baseball, ignored the hatred, and went on to live a life of eminence. He was a paragon of grace and class. When he walked into a room, everyone froze, then marveled. We all knew we were among a king. And I'll also say, before I talk about, to Jeff Passan's credit, he also deleted that tweet and went on top of it, said the use of ignore here was meant to convey Henry's ability to not allow the awful things people said and did to shake him publicly. That was a sliver of his reality, and one I could have worded better. He endured hatred, he fought hatred, he braved hatred, and he deserved none of it. So he also deleted the reply, so I don't know. But again, he wasn't the only person that said that or something similar. And I don't know enough about it. I don't think Jeff Passan's a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he intended any ill will with that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, your intent is not your impact. Never has been. Astronaut pointing the gun. But like saying that he ignored it, right? Like you're saying if he ignored that, these were things that framed his life. Long before baseball, especially during baseball, after baseball, right? And the things he fought against literally his entire life. And if you ignore that, you're taking away a good bit of the man that you're appreciating. You know what I mean? Like I've been trying to figure that out all week. How do you ignore racism? You just put your fingers in your ear. La 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 la. I don't hear you. I don't hear you, Jim Crow. Blah 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 blah. You just cover your eyes. You just don't look at. How do you ignore racism? And also, what were his options? You know what I'm saying? What were his options? Like if he got mad, fight about it. You know what I'm saying? He hears somebody in the stands calling him nigga, and he go up and fight about it. Then what? Then he throwing out the league, and you know what I'm saying? No young cats get a chance after him for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And that's the weight he had to wear. And that's something that you would never even think to say no dumb shit. Like he had to ignore that unless you've never had to deal with it. It'd be like me saying, Kamala Harris ignored sexism on her way to becoming vice president. Easy for me to say. You know what I mean? But that's not my jurisdiction. So, like we read all the crazy numbers, or I hope you've read the crazy numbers in the articles that come out about Hank Aaron this week. But I just wanted to point out some of the interesting things about racism that he ignored, quote unquote ignored, that I found. And this first story was from his time in Washington, D.C. He was in the minor leagues. He might have even still been in the Negro Leagues then. And this is a quote directly from Hank Aaron. We had breakfast while we were waiting for the rain to stop. And I can envision still sitting with the clowns in a restaurant, that was the name of his team, behind Griffith Stadium, and hearing them break all the plates in the kitchen after we finished eating. What a horrible sound. Even as a kid, the irony of it hit me. Here we were in the capital, in the land of freedom and equality, and they had to destroy the plates that had touched the forks that had been in the mouths of black men. If dogs had eaten off those plates, they'd have washed them. End quote. This is the racism he ignored, right? Another quote from another article said when Aaron traveled around Jacksonville, Florida and the surrounding areas, he was often separated from his team because of Jim Crow laws. In most circumstances, the team was responsible for arranging housing and meals for its players, but Aaron often had to make his own arrangements. Had to make his own arrangements and play ball and ignore racism, right? And Hank, he's the last player to go from the Negro Leagues to the major leagues, right? And again, he just passed. That's how close this shit is to us, like timeline wise. You know, more quotes from Hank Aaron. April 8th, 1974. That was the date he broke the home run record. He said that really led to turning me off on baseball. It really made me see for the first time a clear picture of what this country is about, he said. My kids had to live like they were in prison because of kidnap threats, and I had to live like a pig in a slaughter camp. I had to duck. I had to go out the back door of ballparks. I had to have a police escort with me all the time. I was getting threatening letters every single day. All of these things have put a bad taste in my mouth, and it won't go away. They carved a piece of my heart away. to remind myself that we are not that far removed from when I was chasing the record. If you think that, you're fooling yourself. A lot of things that have happened in this country, but we have so far to go. There's not a whole lot that has changed, end quote. He said it carved away a piece of his heart, right? Again, this is a black man born in the 1930s in Mobile, Alabama. And he was still surprised by the level of racism. That's how heavy it was. Right? That's how heavy it was. And so going into it, it says the chase to beat the Babe heated up in the summer of 1973. So did the mail. Aaron needed a secretary to sort it as he received more than an estimated 3,000 letters a day, more than any American outside of politics. Unfortunately, racists did much of the writing. A sampling. And again, before I read the sample letters, 3,000 letters a day. I wouldn't send 3,000 email. I wouldn't send 3,000 text messages a day. Nonetheless, write or word process out a letter, fold it up, tri-fold it, put it in an envelope, address it to Hank Aaron, find his address, get a stamp. I don't know how much stamps were probably free back then. That's a lot of effort. 3,000 letters a day. And this is just a sampling of some of the letters. Dear Hank Aaron, retire or die. You'll be in Shea Stadium July 6th through 8th and in Philly July 9th to 11th. You will die in one of those games. I'll shoot you in one of them. Next letter. Dear Nigger Henry, you are not going to break his record established by the great Babe Ruth if I can help it. Whites are far more superior than jungle bunnies. My gun is watching your every black move. Next letter. Dirty old nigger man. Had Ruth played and been at bat as many times as you, old nigger, he would have hit 1,100 home runs. I hope lightning strikes you, you old man, four flusher. Next letter. Dear Hank Aaron, how about some sickle cell anemia, Hank? Next letter. Dear Hank Aaron, I hope you get it between the eyes. Next letter. Dear Hank, you are a very good ball player, but if you come close to Babe Ruth's 714 home runs, I have a contract out on you. If by the All-Star game you have come within 20 homers of Babe, you will be shot on sight by one of my assassins on July 24th, 1973. Next letter. Dear Hank Aaron, I got orders to do a bad job on you if and when you get 10 from Babe Ruth's record. A guy in Atlanta and a few in Miami, Florida don't seem to care if they have to take care of your family too. Next letter. Hey, nigger boy. We at the KKK Staten Island Division want you to know that no number of guards can keep you, you dirty son of a bitch nigger, alive. That's the end of the letter. That's the end of the sampling of the letters. These are letters that he kept his entire life. Again, to remind him of that. Right? He's like, we're not this far off from this stuff happening. He kept those letters his entire life. Read another article. It said, quote, and so began a season of epithets such as, hey nigger, why you running? There's no watermelon out there. And death threats from fans and of racial taunts from opposing players and coaches. A nigger's gonna croak every time, one of his own teammates said after Aaron popped out to end the game. The Milwaukee Brewers skipper, this is the team he played for, Charlie Grimm, called his rookie outfielder Step and Fetch It because he just keeps shuffling along. Warren Spahn, Hall of Famer, was happy to have a player of Step and Fetch It skills on his side. What's black and catches flies, the Hall of Fame southpaw liked to joke. The Braves outfield. Once Spahn saw a cockroach fall on its back in the clubhouse and joked to the trainer, hey Doc, come turn Hank over. Aaron suffered silently for days and finally rebuked the pitcher. Spahn apologized, saying he hadn't made fun of Henry for being black, just for being slow. All right, Warren Spahn. In the 1960s, the National League All-Star Game was dominated by black players. Aaron, Mays, Ernie Banks, Willie McCovey, Billy Williams, and Willie Stargell met nearly every year at the Midsummer Classic and swapped stories. The kind of stories, Aaron says, that made it clear we could never forget that we were black ball players. And aside to Ernie Banks, one of the reasons the Cubs signed Ernie Banks is because they saw what kind of crowds that Hank Aaron drew when he came to town. Again, not because they were ready to cross the color line or because he was a ball player that could help their team. He filled the seats. It's like, hey, man, those people that want to shoot him, they buy tickets too. You know what I mean? But Billy Williams, again, one of the Black All-Stars, had been so angered by being forced to eat in restaurant kitchens in San Antonio that he quit his minor league team. In Plainview, Texas, a white man had put a gun to the head of Willie Stargell and said, "Nigger, if you play in the game tonight, I'll blow your brains out." Aaron contributed more Sally League horror stories. They got to a point where on the road, Paul Casanova, a catcher for the Braves, brought meals to Aaron's room. Aaron didn't stay with the team, didn't cat with the team, didn't eat with the team, just as in the Jim Crow days. And every off day, Aaron flew to Nashville to visit his daughter Gail at Fisk University because the FBI had uncovered a plot to kidnap Gail. She finished her college term protected by federal agents disguised as maintenance men. That's what his kids went through as their father was like trying to break the home run record. And as an aside to that, just as a testament to what kind of person, what kind of character Hank Aaron had, in a different article I read, it said earlier this year he spent a weekend signing autographs at a card show in Miami, for which he was paid about $25,000. He met up with Paul Casanova, the same player who brought him his meals during the chase. The old catcher had fallen on some hard times, and when Aaron left, he left the $25,000 with Casanova. End quote. And again, you know they wasn't making no money back then, right? So for Hank Aaron, like 25K now, you know what I'm saying? And he just told him, hey, man, you keep it. Like, that's the type of character he had. He was telling his teammates on the bench, hey, man, like, don't sit next to me, right? Because they're going to try to shoot me. I don't want them to shoot you, too. So don't, you know what I'm saying? We could eat our meals up to the side. But in hotels, he would have to book one room, stay in another room. Like, that's how serious this was. And after he hit the home run, like he went into the offseason. He broke the record April 8th, right? 74. That's almost opening day. Baseball starts end of March, early April. I think he got to 13. He wanted to break it before the end of the previous season because he thought he would for sure be shot dead before he got a chance to break it. He had an entire summer of that on his mind. So he came into the season, he was like, I got to break it and get it over with. Said after he hit 715, quote, this is his sister talking, Mama just jumped into Henry's arms and squeezed him around the neck and put a hammer lock on him, Alfreda said. They couldn't get her off of him. She would not let go. Later, I said, Mama, what in Lord's name were you doing? She wasn't running out there out of happiness. She was running out there because she thought her son was going to die. And she told me if they're going to kill my son, they were going to have to kill me too. That was after 7:15. Again, this should have been one of the happiest moments of his career, if not life. And his mother was out there hanging on because she's like, they gonna have to shoot us both. That's what kind of time we on. And that's why it really pissed me off. Like when they show he hit the home run, the two guys got up close to him. They're like rubbing his head and touching his belly while he running the bases. And I feel like it's told and framed now. It's like, oh man, two eager fans. Bro, they could have had anything on them. You know what I'm saying? And you see how easily and how quickly they got up on. He couldn't get from second to third and they was on his head. What if they had a knife or a pocket knife or, you know what I'm saying? So that's just a highlight that's frustrating. A couple more letters. Mr. Henry, Hank Aaron, you are bitter and upset because you are not the first nigger manager. All you black bastards do is complain and demand. Now I know why they lynched you people in the South. Next letter. Mr. Hank Aaron, I think, Mr. Aaron, in all fairness, you should make a statement that you had more bats than Babe Ruth. After all, Babe Ruth was a super great baseball player and is a credit to the white race. End quote. Little do they know, Babe Ruth was black. Babe Ruth was black. That's hilarious to think of now. If they knew Babe Ruth was black, they would have been threatening to go in Cooperstown and shoot it up. Like, you better make Roger Maris the king, nigger. I don't know why they would call the white people nigger, but sometimes you got to call white people nigger. There's another article. He said, this changed me, Aaron said about the hate letters. A quarter of a century later, Aaron still has the record he did at the time this was written, and the hate mail. I read the letters, he said, because they remind me not to be surprised or hurt. They remind me what people are really like. Even 20 years after retirement, this is what he said, I never finish a drink anywhere, even a glass of water. unless I'm right here at home. In a bar or a public place, you'll never find me going back to a drink after I've been to the men's room. He never knows when someone might try to drug him or poison him. The home run king never sits with his back to the door of a restaurant. He doesn't know who might walk in and surprise him. When I'm driving and I see someone coming up in the rearview mirror, he says, I watch him very carefully. He never lets his guard down in a room full of strangers. He studies everyone in a group without revealing himself. You know, what does he want? What's she going to do? And he says he does it so often. He says it with satisfaction that he usually guesses right. This is him 20 years after retirement. That's why I say he had to deal with this growing up, black in Alabama, black in the United States, all during his career, and even 20 years after, he can't let his guard down for a second, man. Couldn't let it down for a second. And no more of the racist letters, but this is something that Dusty Baker said. Dusty Baker, you know, manager, I think he still man Astros. But, I mean, yeah, toothpick, y'all know Dusty Baker. Dusty Baker debuted in the majors with Atlanta in 1968 at 19 and was teammates with a then 34-year-old Aaron, who made a promise to the younger player's mother, telling her that he would keep an eye on her son. And once Aaron once said about him, you could tell he had Major League star written all over him. He told my mom he would take care of me like I was his son when I first signed, Baker recalled. He made me go to church. He made me do everything. Eat right, sleep right, train right. He taught me how to conduct myself, how to be a pro. Hank Aaron had us eat our main meal at 12 to 1 o'clock, no later, for the ball game. Get up and eat breakfast, which I didn't really like. And it worked for him, Baker added. And if it worked for Aaron, of course the younger players followed that plan as well. That was what Dusty Baker said at the time. Dusty Baker released this statement. This is a statement he released right after Hank Aaron passed. He says, quote, Hank Aaron was the most important influence on my life next to my dad. He was the best person that I ever knew and the truest, most honest person that I ever knew. He taught me how to be a man and how to be a proud African American. He taught me how important it was to give back to the community, and he inspired me to become an entrepreneur. Hank impacted my life, my family, and my world, both on and off the field. He was a great man. That's the kind of impact, that's the kind of influence he had. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I don't know if he was fearing for his life yet, but if he was 34, he was still a superstar. I saw 35 to 39. That's when he really got cooking. And he just took just a 19-year-old black kid and was like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? That's respect. And one last thread, and this one's it's kind of related to racism. But this is something I didn't know. This is a thread from at 20 Years of Nitro. It says, Hank Aaron is a legend, an example of courage and grace rarely equaled in sports. A small footnote to his legacy is that he was indirectly partially responsible for Monday Nitro's very existence. A brief thread. Monday Nitro, WCW's version of Monday Night Wrestling back in the early 90s, I guess. But yeah, it says, Bill Watts became the executive vice president of WCW in 1992. He had an old-fashioned style. Sidebar, when people usually say old-fashioned, they usually mean racist. Right? They usually just mean race or sexist or homophobic. You know what I'm saying? Usually mean they hating on somebody. But he had an old-fashioned style that rubbed many the wrong way. At this time, Hank Aaron was also an executive in the Turner organization working for the Braves. In 1993, Mark Madden sent Aaron an interview Watts conducted before getting the WCW job, where he complained about businesses not being able to discriminate against people of color. He also made other racist and homophobic remarks, and Aaron pushed for Watts' firing. And depending on who you believe, Watts was either forced to resign or left the company feeling betrayed by the higher-ups in the organization. This left a job opening in the EVP position that was somewhat surprisingly given to Eric Bischoff, putting him in the famous meeting where he told Ted Turner to compete with WWF they needed to be live on Monday nights. Thus, Nitro fans can indirectly thank Hammer and Hank for Nitro in the best years of WCW. RIP to a true icon and class act both on the field and off, who made an unlikely impact on the wrestling business as well. End thread. Eric Bischoff was the CEO of WCW during the years where they were competing with the WWF. So that's just the kind of impact. Again, even like you said, partially indirectly. But that's just kind of a random footnote there about what he dealt with. Again, even after the facts, he I don't know what kind of work he was doing, but it would have been very easy for him to just be like, you know what I'm saying, hey, I'm doing my work. You know, I don't even know this Watts guy. He was like, nah, that ain't going to fly. And he put the pressure on. They got him out of there. So, respect to Hank Aaron. Salute to a legend. I would say, I think he got his flowers. You know what I'm saying? I think it stinks when people don't get their flowers while they're alive. I think he got his flowers. The only thing I can say, I hope he got to enjoy them. I hope he understood how many lives he influenced, how many people he impacted, what an example he set, just in general. So, RIP to a real one, Hank Aaron. Switching gears for a minute. But speaking of racist, Tom Brady really about to do this shit again, ain't he? Oh, man. God, he about to do this shit again, dude. And I said that during the game, right, when they went up 28-10. And I think it's so wild that I said Tom Brady about to do this shit again. And immediately turned to, well, he's had defenses. And he had weapons. And me, I think it's crazy that he's the only quarterback in the history of the game to have a good defense and weapons. I think that's some really groundbreaking stuff, man. I don't know where he pulled that idea out of thin air, but pretty good. Pretty good. Like, it's got to be nice to have a defense to hold the other team to 3 yards of rush. They make 5.5 tackles for loss, getting into the backfield. And they force 3 turnovers. Wouldn't you like to have a defense like that? Because he ain't had that. That was what Aaron Rodgers' defense did. Wasn't that game something, man? Brady threw him 3 picks on I think it was on 7 or 8 pass attempts. Like he was hot. He threw them in bunches. You swear he dunkly. But those 3 turnovers led to 7 points, man. Green Bay got 7 points out of them. Green Bay turned it over twice. That led to 14 Tampa Bay points. And like the call at the end, you know, the Kevin King, the pass interference or defense hold, whatever they called it. It was tough. But again, it was holding. Like, you know what I'm saying? If the call, like if the best argument is, hey, they didn't call this earlier. Not that, hey, that wasn't a hold. Kind of hard. But also, there was a no call holding on that play by the right tackle. That feel worse than the Kevin King. That's what I'd be pissed about if I was a Green Bay fan. But alas, I think that that really stinks because if anything at all, we know for a fact that we can count on NFL officiating to get it right. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the playoffs. I think any Saints fan would attest to that. Is that we can always count on these guys to get it right. So that one stings a little bit. Like going into it, Green Bay was first in offensive DVOA. I'll explain that a little bit later. First in offensive DVOA, 17th in defense. Tampa Bay was third in offense, 5th in defense. So the 17th ranked defense picked off the third offense 3 times. And the number 1 offense turned that into 7 points, man. Like that's just tough. That's tough. There's no way around that. And I was watching some of Baldy's breakdowns. I know Baldy online, man. He does great work. And there was a series he highlighted, and I'm glad he did because I'm watching at the time. And this is the thing, like, you know, Tony Romo point out everything. But when I catch something live, that's when you know something's up. You know what I'm saying? And it was the second quarter, 14-7 Tampa. Green Bay had first and goal at the 6, right? First down. It's Devontae Adams, one-on-one with Carlton Davis. One-on-one. Like, you couldn't ask for better. They can't connect. Carlton Davis not even verified on Twitter, bro. And 2 first-team All-Pros can't connect. Second down. Alan Lazard misses a pick play. Like, he was supposed to block Levante David. That would have freed up Devontae Adams to get the touchdown. Lazard didn't block him. Levante David, close personal friend, breaks up the play. Third down. Lazard had his man one-on-one. His man fell down. He's running wide into the end zone. He didn't put his hand up I saw people say like that was his confidence. I don't know about that. I feel like he just knew what the play was designed to go to Devontae Adams. They went to him on first down, second down. What they gonna do on third down? Surprise, surprise. So Lazard's man fell down. Rodgers didn't see him. The ball got forced to Devontae Adams in the back of the end zone. He couldn't get his feet down, but Lazard didn't even get a look. So that was just one drive that, again, I noticed at the time. I was like, that wasn't a good drive. I don't know if it's on LaFleur or Rodgers or execution, play calling, whatever. But like over the course of the game, he missed a couple throws. He had a good game, wasn't a great game, or wasn't a perfect game. You know what I'm saying? He had some drops. He had guys not looking for the ball. He had some plays blown, fumbles, all that. He also had a chance. It was a play close to the goal line where it was like, should he have ran? Should he have not ran? I think he should have ran, and I fully admit he would not have scored, right? It was third down. He would not have scored, but I do think he could have got like the 2 or 3 close enough to be like, we should go for it. So that's why I think he should have ran there. But again, the point is like all these things happen. You know what I'm saying? Bad officiating happens. Missed throws, guys making the wrong play, your coach going conservative, your running back fumbling. Like, this just happens. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to everybody but Tom Brady. And far be it from me to defend Tom Brady. God, it feels yucky. But did you know he's got as many NFC championships right now as Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Colin Kaepernick? Isn't that crazy? Like I mentioned some of the playoff win or the playoff quarterback stats last week, and now they've been updated. Tom Brady has 7 road playoff wins, not including Super Bowl. 7 road playoff wins. Dan Marino won 8 playoff games total. You know what I mean? Tom Brady has 7 road playoff wins. The Cardinals have 7 playoff wins as a team since 1932. The Lions have 7 playoff wins as a team since 1932. The Bengals started in 1968, and they have 5 playoff wins total. Tom Brady has 9 playoff wins against the NFC alone. He just got here. It's his first year in the NFC. So you need to abandon your team if they were just listed there, is basically what I said all that to say. But it kept getting brought, like Brady had good defenses. I said like I told he had good, top 10 defenses for 20 years. And I wanted to see if that was true, right? It's like, I know the Patriots, they had some great defenses, like for sure, no doubt. Did he have 20 years of good defenses? I don't know about that. So I wanted to look it up. I did look it up. And I went with DVOA, which is defense adjusted value over average. So I'll be saying DVOA. That's what it means when I say DVOA. Defense adjusted value over average. And I'll explain what that means. DVOA is the main statistic used on Football Outsiders. It tracks the entire season, play by play, comparing success on each play to the league average based on a number of variables, including down, distance, location on field, current score gap, quarter, and opponent quality. While it can be used as a measure of total team performance, it differs from power ratings found throughout the web because it can be broken down to analyze team effectiveness in any number of ways. Again, down, quarter, rushing versus receiving, location on the field, passes to backs versus passes to receivers, and so on. And that's the reason why I use DVOA, because again, it goes play by play, factors in down and distance, like a 2-yard run on 4th and 1 is weighted more positively than a 2-yard run on 2nd and 20. You know what I'm saying? And it's also consistent year by year. It's like Pro Football Focus, right? You don't have to agree with everything they say or how they rate it, but you know that their ratings are at least consistent, right? And the consistency at least helps to judge it against other seasons in context. Like I was looking at something like the points allowed, yards allowed. Those can be dicey. I don't know if those are the truest measures. And DVOA doesn't include offensive yards or points given up. So that's why I use those. So the DVOA for the defenses Tom Brady has had: 6 Super Bowl wins, In his 6 Super Bowls, these are the defensive rankings by DVOA. 13th, that was the first one against the Rams. 2nd, that was one against the Panthers. 7th, Eagles. 12th, Seahawks. 16th, Falcons. 16th, Rams. He lost Super Bowls with the 11th ranked defense. That was the Giants, the undefeated year. Giants, again, they were 30th in defensive DVOA and 31st when they lost to the Eagles the Nick Foles year. So he even made it. He made it to the Super Bowl twice with 2 30th ranked DVOAs. So I wanted to see what was the highest DVO he ever, like the highest rank he ever had. It was last year. Last year was the first time he had a first ranked team in DVOA. That was that Pats team that was like, yeah, this is the team. They just kind of fell apart down the stretch. They lost to the Titans wild card round. They finished first in DVOA. He also had another team that finished 7th. They lost to the Colts in the AFC title game. So, like the top 10 defense, 1, per this, is not true. 2, is that bad? You know what I'm saying? It's a bad thing in a team game to have a defense and some running backs, some receivers, and a line. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a bad thing. And so then it comes to, okay, well, why did he have these defenses? Nobody else did. How could they afford these defenses? So I read an article. They did an estimate that Tom Brady had given up from $60 to $100 million over the course of his career, his Patriots career, in contracts. $60 to $100 million. Like this year, this first year with the Bucs, this is the most he's ever made in a season. This is the most he's ever made. $27.8 million. That's in cash spent, not cap hit. We'll get to that. But this year, that alone, the most he's ever made, puts him 7th. Behind Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz, Ryan Tannehill, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Deshaun Watson. In cap hit, for what it counted against the cap, not the actual cash he was paid, he was 6th. Behind Dak, Russell Wilson, Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Phillip Rivers. Again, 2019, his last year with the Pats, when they had the first ranked defense, DVOA. His salary, he was 11th in cap hit, 7th in cash spent. And then the years before that, he had never made $20 million in a season, on average, per year. He had never made that in a season. Like he did the Dirk Nowitzki, only it worked. Like Dirk gave up all the money, and they didn't win a single playoff series. Still haven't since they won that championship. And Dirk gave up all that money. Lord, guaranteed too. Bless his heart. And this is not to knock, Goff or Kirk Cousins or Stafford or Breeze or any of those guys for getting the coin. Hey, get your money, brother. You know what I'm saying? But it's also like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I'm saying? If you're making $41 million, as I think Ben Roethlisberger will next year, yeah, you probably not. That's gonna cut into the money for line and weapons and all that. You know what I'm saying? You trying to have cake and eat it too. It don't work that way. You can have the cake, but you can't also eat it because then you won't have it. You know what I mean? And I saw people were saying like, it's easier to take less money when your wife is worth $500 million. And I got to call Cap on that. I got to call Big Cap on that. Not that she's worth it. Giselle's definitely worth all the money, all of it probably. But I'm calling Cap on that because she could have had $0 or she could have been Mackenzie Bezos. Like my contract is mine and I'm going to need my paper for playing quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So I don't take that into account. Also, Tom Brady had 3 rings by the time they even started dating. You know what I'm saying? And this wasn't, he had 3 rings, but he had also signed a new deal, right? This wasn't just him on the rookie deal for cheap. He had signed a new deal, and he was still making less than Mark Brunell after 3 rings. So, I think more teams should probably pay their quarterback under the table. Like they invested, I think the Patriots absolutely invested in the TB12 or whatever BS he had going on. Good. You should be asking your team why they don't do that. Why they not investing in Aaron Rodgers' 401k or some other letters and things? You know what I'm saying? Keep that cap hit low to get him, I don't know, whatever you need. A defense that's not 17, but still gets 3 turnovers in the playoff. I don't know. Like, I think Mahomes' version of this, honestly, is the 10-year deal. You know what I'm saying? He knows he can get out. He can restructure whenever he needed. But if he wanted to make the most bread, you know what I'm saying? If he was only looking to maximize, his financial benefits, he could have just waited and went year by year, signed shorter contracts. He didn't. And on the flip side, I feel like Matt Stafford get a new contract every 4 months. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get traded now and then get a brand new extension. Where it's like Matt Stafford, highest paid quarterback in the league. Team still ain't winning, huh? Like, well, Stafford's good. Hey, that ain't about him being good. And to his credit, I do think he's good. I do hope he gets away from the Lions, who again have as many playoff wins as a franchise as Tom Brady has rode playoff wins in 20 years. So that's enough of him. Speaking of Mahomes, just briefly on the other game, the Bills played a good game. They just played way too conservative, man. They just played way too conservative to be going up against Patrick Mahomes. Like, they got the 9-0 lead. They scored 24 points total. But 7 was from the McCole Hardman fumble. They went like 3 yards. And they had 2 50-plus yard field goals. Maybe that's not as sustainable. Maybe not. You know what I mean? What do I know? I saw that in the Andy Reid Mahomes era, so these last 3 seasons, they've scored 25 points or less 8 times. 25 points or less 8 times. They've scored 38 points or more 12 times. Right? Like, you're going to have to score some points to beat them, man. These long field goals and playing conservative, that just ain't going to cut it. Mahomes and Reid, in the regular season, they're 38-8. Postseason, they're 6-1. So total, they're 44-9. And their 9 losses, the 9 losses they have together over the past 3 years, regular season and postseason, are by 8 points, 7 points, 7, 6, 3, 3, 3, 1, and 6. Those are the losses. Patrick Mahomes has never lost an NFL game by more than 8 points. Which means, 1, you're going to have to score some points, and 2, he's still going to make it close. He's still going to make it close. The Bills knew that, or I hope they knew that going in, and they still kicked 2 field goals inside the 10-yard line, man. They kicked a 20-yard field goal and a 27-yard field goal. Right? They kicked one. They had 4th and 3 on Kansas City's 33-yard line. And it was the first points of the game, so I kind of wanted to get some points there. But at the same time, man, again, you made it that far. You need points to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Before halftime, they took the 20-yard field goal. It was 21-9. The field goal made it 21-12. That's still a 2-possession game. And the Chiefs get the ball back after halftime. So, like, sick. Awesome, Sean McDermott. You're still down 2 scores. And the greatest quarterback ever, the best quarterback ever, and one of the best coaches ever get the ball back after the halftime at home. Very cool. And what's wild is that they have been historically very good at that, which I did not know. This is from Ben B. Baldwin on Twitter. And it's a chart showing how often do the Bills go for it when they should. And the league average, the go rate is between like 0.2, 0.3. It gets as high as 0.4. Right? And this is when he recommends going for if the play would gain in win probability increase of at least 1.5 percentage points. All that shit's not necessary. I just wanted to list the criteria. But they're far, like for 2018, 19, 20, they're like doubled up on the league average. Like the Bills, for the most part, have been playing an aggressive game. And that's when Sean McDermott came in. Like that's been his style. And they went away from it. They went away from it when they needed it the most. Like if they don't get any of those, okay, they lose 38 to, 10 instead of 38 to 20. Like you're still losing. No shame in losing to Patrick Mahomes, you know what I'm saying? But it should be a little shame if you're not trying to give your team the best opportunity to win. As a coach, you should be putting your team the best opportunity to win. And kicking a 20-yard field goal against the Chiefs is not really the way to do that. Going forward though, like they're fine. Bills are probably a little bit ahead of schedule. Won the division this year, made to the conference championship. I feel like most of their core is either young or already locked up. Like they need some run blocking. Their run blocking has to improve. Read for the year, they're 4th in pass block win rate, but 29th in run block win rate. So even if they can just even get that to average, right? Just knowing that they can, like Singletary solid, Zach Moss was solid, Josh Allen can run. They need some more run blocking. Like they've got 2 All-Pro wide receivers. I couldn't believe it, man. I still can't believe Cole Beasley is an All-Pro wide receiver, but they could, like another outside receiver or a tight end, something like that would do wonders for Josh Allen. Or running back, I feel like they could catch more than like check downs. And I think they need pass rusher or a pass rusher. Like I know sacks isn't the best measure for how much pressure you're getting on the quarterback, but their leading sack man had 5 sacks on the year. Like, and again, me personally, I would prefer somebody that can sack Patrick Mahomes. That's just me. So, Super Bowl, got the Bucks and the Chiefs. I don't know who I'm rooting for yet. Like, god damn, I do not want to root for Tom Brady, but the Bucks, I know y'all seen the pictures going around, like the Bucks offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, the assistant head coach, the run game coordinator, all black men. So salute to Bruce Arians for that. They've also got a woman on their defensive, I think assistant defensive line coach, and a woman of color. I'm not sure her ethnicity, so I don't want to tell tales out of school, but a woman of color as their assistant strength and conditioning coach. So salute to them for, being all of the diversity for the NFL. But at the same time, the Chiefs got Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? So is this going to keep being a copycat league or nah? Right? Because I just know if the Chiefs win, Bieniemy had nothing to do with it, right? But if they lose, it'll be, oh man, he couldn't even win with Patrick Mahomes. So the Texans' job is already out of the way. They get it to another brother, a non-Eric Bieniemy brother. So respect to him. Respect to that, man. I don't have any picks yet. Still waiting. Still looking over my prop bets. So I got nothing yet. But my little chickadees, I will have some prop bets coming. I'm linking up with my man, Mr. Nance47 on Twitter, on the Smarter Than the Average Bear podcast. That's going to be out. I think it's this Monday. And I'll link to that. So y'all can hear me go 0 for 27 on prop bets, just like old times. So Smarter Than the Average Bear podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to that, so you get it hot off the press. I know you want these prop bets. I know you're ready to lose some money with me. I know you're ready to. So that'll be out soon. And I don't even have a prediction yet. I'm leaning Chiefs. But again, Tom Brady, racism, 2020, 2021. So, I don't know. I got a lot to consider. Random thought alert. I don't like when I'm watching shows or movies and people have like a similar phone to me, but their phone rings and they have a different ringtone than the one that I use. I don't like it. Well, I can't remember. I was watching something, and his ringtone was the tone that I use for my alarm when I need to wake up for something. I said, that's chaos, man. He couldn't hear me, but I still said it. So I don't like that. That was a random thought alert. Next, we got Baby Boy of the Week. Baby Boy of the Week alert. Emmanuel Quickly. Come on down. Come on down, son. So proud of you. He had a monster game this past week. Came off the bench, scored 31 points, hit 5 threes, and did it in 24 minutes. And these numbers from Tommy Beer, I'm not sure if they're still true, but at one point they were. NBA rookie leaders in points per 36 minutes. Manuel Quickly, 22.3 points per 36. Wiseman second at 19.8, and Edwards 17.7. He's third. NBA rookie leaders in assists per 36 minutes. LaMelo Ball's 1, 8.7. Tyrese Halliburton, second, 6.2. Emmanuel Quickley's third with 5.2. So per 36, when my guy get a little time to shine, he's at 22 and 5. He hitting 5 threes. He coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? He competing on defense. I'm very proud of him. I'm just so proud of him. And it's why I really try not to. I mean, I can't even trip off like a 5-star guy with a that has a poor rookie year, a poor freshman season, I should say. Right? Like Emmanuel Quickley's, this would be his junior year. He is 21, I guess, 20, 21. This would be his junior year. And he's scoring 30 off the bench for the Knicks. His freshman year, he averaged 5 points a game and shot 37% from the field. You know what I'm saying? 34% from three. He went from that, 5 points a game, shooting 37% from the field freshman year. Sophomore year, turned himself into the Conference Player of the Year. Conference Player of the Year, first team All-SEC, first round pick. Third year, again, will be his junior year. He leading the rookies in points per 36 and third in assists per 36. So, he's baby boy of the week. IQ, you're doing great. You're doing great. This kind of leads into a question. First question we have of the week. It says, Trilly, why haven't you sought to release yourself from the clutches of UK sports the way you have for your other fandoms? That's a good question. And I'll say this. They're not exempt. No, like nobody's exempt. I want to get that clarified. But I've had a lot of highs with these teams. You know what I'm saying? I've had a lot more highs, you know what I'm saying, than people with the teams they're rooting for that they're trying to kick. I wasn't having no highs with the Bengals and Magic. I kicked them. Like UK football and basketball, there's been some highs there. Like UK football, they're beating teams they hadn't beat literally my entire life. And they're winning more games than they have since legit the 1970s. You know what I'm saying? Before they weren't an afterthought then. That was, I think, like Bear Bryant. It just left. Or been gone like just a minute. Like, so they having more success there than they have in longer than my lifetime. Right? And that's the beauty of college football, man. We finished with a losing record this year. But we won our bowl game. And thus a successful season. You know what I'm saying? Like the football in college, it's much lower quality. Right? But so is the bar. The bar is so low. So like a good season, way more highs than lows. Kentucky football as of late. And UK basketball, again, like over the course of my lifetime, it's just been way more highs than lows. You know what I'm saying? You can, like, I think it was 8 all-time title, like most all-time wins for a college program, up there in Final Fours, championships, all that. Just in my lifetime, I've seen 3 titles. You know what I'm saying? I've seen 3 in my lifetime. And also I get the privilege of, again, like Emmanuel Quickley, I get to watch these guys go and be good for the next 10 and 15 years and root for Anthony Davis and Emmanuel Quickley and PJ Washington and all these guys. So it's just been like much, much, much more highs. Like I love hearing from people that finally get a baby boy in the league. They're like new parents, man. They're like brand new parents. Like, man. Like Ant Edwards, I ain't had nobody since like Kentavious Caldwell Pope. And I was like, isn't it great? You ain't had a kid in a while, man. You forget how cute they are, man. And so just be able to turn on the TV and just see a random baby boy, it's tremendous. So again, UK is not exempt from this. But it's just been way more highs than lows. Like that's really the thing you have to ask yourself when it comes to quitting a team. Do the highs justify the lows? And it leads to a question from Jim Jam, our anti-ascension snowman, of course. And he said, I was wondering something while listening to the Farm Report. You were talking about quitting a team that doesn't have success. And I was wondering, how do you quit a team? In this case, I'm talking about the Packers that have had above average success, but more often than not coming up short to the point that I find myself not caring about the games they play, but being unable to quit them fully. For example, Packers-Bucks most likely won't be on my TV screen at all unless I hear some reason to. This is before the game, of course. I just say, if it's not bringing you joy, quit it. It sounds like it's not bringing you joy, right? Like the Packers have had enough success to keep you roped in. Like 2 rings, I'm guessing I'm not sure how old, at least 1, but 2. Favre got 1, Rodgers got 1. They're perennially, in and around the mix. But like you said, if they're coming up short more often that you find yourself not caring, you're well on your way to quitting them, my friend. You're doing great. You're doing great. That's the first step. Like if you stop caring, it's like, man, once you stop caring, like whether it's win or loss, that's when you know. That's when you know. Like I walked out on the Bengals after a playoff berth where the backup, like the Dalton got hurt, the backup quarterback played the playoff game and they still almost won. But I was like, I'm done. This was the high. That's when I was like, this is the high. This is what the high felt like. Every time you get drunk, you break your ankle. It's like, yeah, man. Now this is the fun part of it. But what's the lows? Damn. You don't want to see the lows, but the fun, I always break a bone. I always end up breaking some kind of bone. If the highs are not that high, and again, if you can't even watch the game, like I say, I don't think I've ever been to that point where it's like, I can't even watch this. Of course, it's like nerve-wracking. Of course, big games are nerve-wracking, but I'm going to watch it. Don't be silly. But if you get to that point, Jim, you got to free yourself from those bonds, my brother. Free yourself. Right now is the time, man. Right now is the time. Aaron Rodgers talking about maybe you'll be there, maybe you won't. Get out before the draft. They're going to draft a bunch of people that you think are going to be the answer, and they're not going to play in the playoffs at all, except for A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones probably going to walk, right? I don't think Aaron Rodgers leaves this year. But I don't think Aaron Rodgers is like a play till 45 guy. I don't think he's a Brady or Breeze type. I could just see him being like, like after a year or two, like, no, I'm like, I had a good run. Got my MVPs, got a ring. You know what I'm saying? People know how cold I was. I'm just out of here. So I would say, I would advise get out now if it's not bringing you joy or more joy than pain. Or if you want to ride out Rodgers, be like, hey, as long as Rodgers is here, I'm in. But you gotta hop off that train with him, because you'll see a good Jordan Love preseason game, but like, oh man, he like Rodgers but better. He's not gonna be better, right? He's not gonna be better. And you saw the highs you had with Rodgers, Super Bowl, 1 and 4 or 5 in like conference championships. You always in the mix. You always got something good to look forward to. Maybe you've been to a game in Lambeau or 2, but you can always go to a game in Lambeau or 2. And if they get good, you can always jump back. That's the beauty of it. I jumped off Bengals and Magic. They ain't been good enough to jump back. Great decision by me. But if they was, man, I'd be Magic fan number 1. I told y'all Mo Bamba was a star. Why did y'all doubt Evan Fournier is what I'd say. But if this is called, it comes down, if it's causing you more joy than pain. Maybe I did say success last week, but again, success is relative. But so is joy and pain. That's why I say it has to be what it is to you. Right? If an Alabama football fan had, Kentucky football's last 10 years, they'd be on suicide watch. But if a Vanderbilt fan had it, man, they'd be on cloud 9. So you just, whatever the success is to you, you have to decide that. And once the pain threshold once the pain exceeds that, it's time to get out, man. It's doing you more harm than good. If it was a person or a job or something in your life that kept, bringing you to the brink and letting you down horribly, you wouldn't put up with that. Not 9, 10 times maybe, but not 11. Not 11. So just consider that, Jim Jam. And anybody else, if it's not bringing you more joy than pain, whatever that means to you, it's probably time to let it go. Next question says, what was your highest high and lowest low as a sports fan? Could be from wherever. The highest high was, I feel like it's got to be the 2012 UK championship. Like there was a team, like they went 38-2. The only 2 teams they lost to were Vandy, who they beat twice that year, and Indiana on the last second shot. So the Sweet 16 came to Atlanta. Got to see them avenge the Indiana loss. Got to see him beat Baylor. And 80 went down. I thought he broke his leg, and I was like, this is it. this is how it ends. Things have been going way too well. But he ended up getting back up, played Louisville in the Final Four, beat them, watched the title game. We played Kansas, and got to watch that with my dad. And I just remember us being so stressed for like 3 hours. Like we got up, like double digits. We had a decent lead in the first, but we were just looking at each other like, things going a little bit too well. You know what I mean? I remember AD could not buy a basket. He was still balling. He had, I don't know how many rebounds, blocks, steals, whatever, but he could not get a basket. And I was like, yeah, this is gonna come crashing down. And Marquise Teague, my old man's favorite, anytime he had the ball, my dad would just be like, he makes me nervous. I feel like I remember Teague having a decent game, like not a great game, but a solid game. He definitely helped us. We don't win that championship without him. And he could get the ball for inbound. And I just hear my dad, he makes me nervous. He just makes me nervous. But held the lead pretty steady. They started coming back toward the end, but like it turned into the free throw battle. We made our free throws, and we made it the highest high. I just remember like the horn going off, and me and my old man just high-fiving like 100 times. Like just randomly 100 times, and watching like all the interviews, all the post-game stuff. Glad they talking to the assistant athletic director on ESPN 7, and I'd be like, ESPN 7, let's see. So that was pretty cool. I also remember that was a Monday, like championship Monday, and my birthday is always the week of the championship. So I was like, I definitely have to go to work on Tuesday, but can I somehow get up there for the championship celebrations and my birthday and be back? So let that be a lesson to you. Just skip work. You know what I mean? I was trying to have my cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? And I don't think I ended up having any cake. I know I went up there and I called some of the celebration, but I should have just called sick day, vacation day, whatever. So that was the highest high. The lowest low by far was the Bengals-Steelers playoff game. That was my last game as a Bengals fan. 15, 16? I don't know. It was the year that like Dalton was having his best year, and he broke his thumb against the Steelers in like week 12, 13, making a tackle after interception. So it was the A.J. McCarron game. It was in Cincinnati because they'd won the division, and A.J. Green caught a touchdown with under 2 minutes left. Right? Under 2 minutes left. So the Bengals are up. Roethlisberger got hurt earlier in that game. I went back and checked the box score. I was like, let me make sure I'm remembering the stuff in order. And it was much more hurtful thinking back on it. But yeah, Roethlisberger had gotten hurt like the third quarter. So it was Landry Jones time. First play, he threw a pick to Vontaze Burfict. First play. So the Bengals are up 16-15 with 1:43 left. And they have the ball. So it's like, oh man. You never want to, you're a Bengals fan, you don't expect anything good to happen. So it was far from a done deal. And what do you know? The first play after that, Jeremy Hill fumbles. The first play. Steelers got the ball back. 1:36 left. They had 74 yards to go. But it's with their backup quarterback, right? Wrong. Big Ben comes back in. I'm like, this is great. This is just great. So it gets to 4th down, 4th and 3. This is for the game. 28 seconds left. Antonio Brown, before he had lost his mind, got the first down. Pittsburgh used their final timeout. The ball's at the Cincinnati 47, so not field goal range. It's also raining at the time, I should mention. There's 22 seconds left. So it's like, okay, they don't have any timeouts. They're too far away. No penalties. Keep them in bounds. That's it. Win the game. Next play. I think it was the next play. The infamous hit, Vontaze Burfict on Antonio Brown. The one that people say started him down this path, but I don't buy that. Now, it certainly contributed, but now that he had apparently some stuff going on before that. So that's a 15-yard penalty. That puts him down to the 32. 18 seconds left. They have no timeouts, but they're on the 32. Joey Porter, the Steelers, I think linebackers coach or something, gets in the Bengals huddle. Pac-Man Jones gets mad, throws a punch at Joey Porter. Another 15-yard penalty. That puts him down to the 17 with 14 seconds left. Because they don't have any timeouts, they don't even risk it. They just send the kicker in. He kicks the field goal in the rain. Bengals lose. And I remember just getting in my car and just driving around the city, man. I just I didn't know what else to do. I was like, I cannot stay here at my house while I was watching the game. I just drove around the city for a while, man. And that was the day I said, never again. Never again. Because the first time they made the playoffs under Marvin Lewis, that was a Carson Palmer injury when he got hurt. The last time was the team absolutely imploding. And I just remember saying to myself, this don't happen to normal teams. Right? Teams lose playoff games, not like this, not every time. And I was like, this team is just not going to win. And I got out, and I haven't looked back, man. So that's what it took for me to get out. But I don't even think they've been 500 since. So that might slick be like the number 2 highest high. It got me out of a lot of future disappointment. Next question from Rare says, following up on the question above, the highest high part, what's a time where the candle kicked your ass and you were way too high? I remember this was before that playoff game, like maybe a year or so before. I remember a friend of mine had a housewarming party. He just got like a place in Atlantic Station. It was like a place in Atlanta, around Atlanta. And I was good and cross-faded, man. Real good and real cross-faded. And I remember I just got so high that I just went to the bathroom and I just laid down. Right? I just laid down. And it wasn't like I had too much to drink. Oh, I need to throw up. I'm feeling sick. I was just sleepy. Like I wasn't freaking out or nothing. I just want to lay down a little bit. I know I can get a little relative peace and quiet in the bathroom. I was like, I go in there, rest my eyes for 3, maybe 4 minutes. So I finally got up and I walked out, and I remember everybody cheered. I came out of the bathroom and people started cheering and clapping. And the guy was like, nigga, I thought you was dead. And I said, I thought I was dead too. And everybody cheered again. It was going crazy. And after that, I think I sat on the couch and drank some water. I was still pretty sleepy, but I was like, this feels like a good time to catch a little rest. So that's what I did. Next question comes from A. Humps. Humps says, how do you plan on recovering from all your Discord members going broke off the current STONKS craze? Other than Carson, who's now a millionaire. I mean, shit, I'm going broke with him. You know what I mean? If the gang say we going down with AMC stock, we going down with AMC stock. Fuck it. Or, that's plan B. I'd also considered updating the tiers of the prices for the Patreon by the minute to reflect the stock prices, right? If things going good in the core, bam. Hair half of $50. Things not going so hot, bam. 4 cents. Like just putting TFR, the fun report, put it on the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones. I want it on both them bitches. The whack thing is, man, I wanted to get in on the fun. I wanted to do some stonks, but I ain't have enough buying power in my Robinhood account. I wanted to get rich with my friends, but I didn't have enough buying power. Now they've locked everything, which who could have seen any of this coming? But I'll also say this. I've already upped the price on Carson. He understands. I haven't told him yet, but he'll understand. So, like, if y'all hit it big, I'm just adding a 0 onto the price of every tier. And I don't want to hear no guff about it neither. Next question from Chet Ripley, in fact. He says, Trilly, what are your thoughts on how his cult members all grew hive mind and became big-time stonks traders in a matter of hours? I got to say, Ripley, big fan. Big fan of that. But I, for one, was shocked to see the cult members grew hive mind. You know what I'm saying? Just go into group think so quickly. I just couldn't believe it. But nevertheless, it's what the rich folk been doing, man. Right? Now the regular man get a taste and they got it on lockdown. So just let this be the ultimate reminder. If you ain't know already, listen, they don't change the rules unless you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? They don't change the rules till you start winning. It's just the latest example of that. I remember the first real example I got of that was when I was paying my student loans off, right? So I was making, you know what I'm saying, the once monthly payment, right? Every 15th or whatever it was. And I was like, why? Like, this ain't doing me no good, right? Like, I'm not cutting into no principal. Like, over the course of a year, you be done paid, like, I'd say it was $100 a month, right? You pay $1,200 and the price of your loan has decreased by $14. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, why? So I started doing my Googles, doing some Googling before it was really STONKS. And it was like, you got to pay daily. You have to cut the interest. You cut the interest, you get to the principal. You cut the principal, that's the debt, right? So I started paying daily, right? That you couldn't pay on the weekends. So again, say it was $100, 20 days in a month, right? Monday through Friday, 4 weeks. I would just break it down. I was paying $5, like the equivalent of $5 a day. And I would advise, if you have any student loans or anything where interest is accruing daily, pay daily. Pay, like, break it into what you can pay daily. Pay daily. So I started paying like the equivalent, like $5. And I started, it cuts the interest down. Once the interest went down, that's when the principal started going down, right? You're paying the same exact amount of money, but by doing it daily instead of once a month, you're not letting the interest have a chance to accrue. And once I started doing that and cutting the principal, the company changed the rules on me. They was like, hey, you can't pay every day anymore. Like before, I remember one of the selling points was like, hey, you can pay, anytime you want. Like that was hey, you can give us our money anytime you want. It was like, sick, thank you. But once I started doing that, they changed it to where I could only pay 8 times a month. 8 times a month. So I started paying it Monday and Friday. Every Monday, every Friday. And that shit worked. So I'm telling you, they don't change the rules unless you're doing something right. And I also think it's a little bit funny, but I feel like they was planning the insurrection, the Capitol storming for weeks on Reddit. If not months, probably. Them stocks went up for 22 hours, and they said that's a no-go, daddy-o. We got to put the kibosh on that quick fast. So they'll figure out something new, right? And we, the people, will be there to exploit it. So looking forward to that. Next question comes from Bask. Bask says, thoughts on Cat Carl Anthony Towns being horny on Maine? Me personally, I love it. Ain't nothing like being horny on Maine, especially for your woman. You know what I'm saying? As far as I know, I think there's still an item. So I want that man to be horny for his woman on Maine. I'd love to be horny on Maine again, but y'all won't let me, man. Y'all be favoring like every single tweet. I'll be having an interaction with somebody. I just favorite every single tweet and just replying and just putting your terrible opinion in there and be like, this brother's starving. Duh, nigga, let me starve. So, like, let Tiana Paris start taking my calls again. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be diabolically horny on Maine. Ain't nothing like hyping your woman when she like right next to you. Being horny on Maine. That's a close second. A distant second. Because number one is like watching your woman or watching your spouse, your significant other, whatever, tweet about how much they hate men while they are rubbing your feet and cooking you dinner and you know what I'm saying, exfoliating your face. It's the best. It's really the best. I really miss them days. Next question. So going off this tweet, how would you power rank the species of said gummy universe? I was able to find gummy bears, worms, dinosaurs, butterflies, frogs, penguins, and technically Swedish fish too. And the tweet is from Ian A. Bramson. It says, when you compare the size of a gummy worm versus a gummy bear, it starts to paint a horrific picture of the gummy universe. That, you talk about somebody that was too high, man. That candle had a boy in a headlock. But assume if they're all the same size in this gummy universe, I still feel like bear is the most dangerous, right? Just equal playing field. If everybody's the same size, give me the bear. They got the strength, like the teeth. They can stand up, fight on 2, 4, claws, all that, thick skin, all that. Second, though, hey, give me frogs, man. Frogs are scary, bro. Like, if a frog was the same size as a bear, I think the bear would win. But if you put the frog the same size as any, like even the dinosaur, because we find out some of them dinosaurs was weak as hell. Dinosaurs was the size of like chickens. And even if they was big, they ain't had no, they wingspan was terrible, like T-Rex. So give me frogs second. Right? They just jump up out the universe, man. They take that tongue and they just grab you. Bah, 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 bah. That's how the tongue do. That's how the gummy frog tongue do. So I got frogs second. Dinosaurs third. Gummy worms fourth. Butterflies fifth. Not so much like, I don't know how much damage they would do, but if you just saw a butterfly the size of a grizzly bear, you know what I'm saying? Those things are cute because they got the, the wings and you can't really see their face and hands and stuff. But if they was big, nah, it'd be good. It'd be real scary hours for a butterfly that size. I got penguins after that. Then last, instead of Swedish fish, I put them gummy sharks. Y'all remember the gummy sharks, the blue and white ones? I put them dead last only because they stink. How you mess up a gummy? They're like ashy and I don't know, but they're last. A butterfly whoop a gummy shark ass. And again, I'm basing this totally off how bad they taste. To me, it stinks. Next question comes from Soapy. Soapy says, if you go to the convenience store, what are your favorite snacks? Picture yourself plopping down to watch the Zapruder film for the 87th time, but you got the munchies. What are you salivating for? One, I'm honored you think I've only watched the Zapruder film 87 times. Very honored. But I got to get my drink first, man. I feel like that set up the rest of the meal. So usually I'm going with a Sprite. I got to go with the 20-ounce Sprite. Got to have some bubbles at the top. You know what I'm saying? Some of them gas station sodas, they've been in there since WW1. Got to have little bubbles on the top. So a Sprite. Tahitian treat if I'm feeling a little feisty. And if I've really just given up on everything, Coke 45, glass bottle, please and thank you. They put them in plastic now. It don't taste the same. It just don't taste the same. So that's my drink. I need some kind of sweets. You know what I mean? Some sort of muffin, some kind of cupped cake. And man, I miss Fairway. Fairway in New York, man. I used to have the muffin tops. It was just the top of the muffin, bro. And they were oversized. It was like a manhole cover, but it was a chocolate chip muffin. Give me 3 to 7 muffin tops from Fairway. I might grab me a little strawberry frosted Pop-Tart. You know, Pop-Tart at the gas station costs $8.57. So you got to really be balling there. Luckily, I sold my AMC at the right time so I can afford one Popped Tart. I might do a little peach rings. That's, you know what I'm saying, that's adventurous. But if I'm feeling like really, you know what I'm saying, really, I don't give a fuck about nothing, give me some crispy, crunchy fried chicken, man. I've only seen crispy, crunchy fried chicken in convenience stores, gas stations. And that's some of the best birds you'll ever have, man. Some of the best birds you'll ever have. You eating gas station fried chicken? Yes. Yes, I am. 2 wings and a breast. Honey butter biscuit on the side, please. So, yeah, any combination of those things, and I'm ready to rock, man. I can tell you the exact frame when JFK coming around the corner. I bet he didn't ask that. Moving on. Next question. Got a 2-parter. Okay. 2-parter says, who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of Atlanta rap? I had 3K, Big Boy, T.I., Future. Also, who would be on your Mount Rushmore of other cities? I did a couple cities. Before Atlanta, Outkast is a given, right? Like so much so that I feel like they get one spot. Like it's still both of their faces, right? But it's one spot just because they're given. It's him and I, Quim and I style. So they're just one. Outkast is one. I got Gucci on there. There's a tough call between Gucci and Jeezy. But when I just think of it, Atlanta rap, I think more Gucci than Jeezy. I got Future on there. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I put Zaytoven. There's a lot of candidates for like the last rapper spot, but I did want to have like a producer represented. You can go a lot of them there, but I went Zaytoven. Did a couple more, like for New York. I think Biggie's got to be there. Jay-Z, Nas. The DJ was a tough one, though, right? Like, I had DJ Premier. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a Houston guy, but he moved to New York when he was young, and like his sound was New York. Like, you know what I'm saying? Gang Starr, their sound was New York, Northeastern. So I got either Premier, or if not, give me Just Blaze. Give me Just Blaze. I know he's from Jersey, but it's the Mount Rushmore, you know what I'm saying? Gucci was born in Alabama, like if we get into the specifics. So one of them, New Orleans, gotta be Master P, gotta be Lil Wayne, gotta be Mia X, and gotta be Manny Fresh, man. LA's, I won't say easy, but a lot came to mind there. I went Tupac, Snoop, Dr. Dre, and Kendrick. I think Kendrick is probably, I was like, is it too soon? It's probably not. He's been in the game for a minute. So Kendrick's there. Texas, because I couldn't do like just Houston or Dallas or whatever. Scarface got to be there. Again, either Premier or DJ Screw. I wouldn't argue with either one. UGK got to be there. I think they occupy the same face, or occupy one spot like Outkast. And I put Zero on there, man. You talk to anybody from Texas about Zero, man, he a fan favorite. So I'd like to see Zero just on a Mount Rushmore of some sort. Memphis got a fire one. I think you got to put like DJ Paul, Juicy J, Dolph. I got Dolph on there already. And Project Pata, of course. Pat got, you could just put Project Pat face on there 4 times, and I think it'd be accurate. And the last city I did was Chicago. I think it's got to be Kanye. I got to have Chief Keef on there. Last 2 was a little tough. I went Common, and I went Lupe. I thought about somebody else, but he's very canceled and in prison and doesn't deserve to be on anything. So those are the 4 I went. A couple other cities, I either couldn't get like a strong 4, or I felt like I was forcing it. So those are the ones I just did. Atlanta, New York, New Orleans, LA, Texas, Memphis, and Chicago. Next question comes from Sweatsuit Tony. Tony says, I went back and rewatched season 3 of Peaky Blinders after you discussed why it's your favorite season, and I retract my take of saying it's my least favorite. The priest is infinitely more badass than I remember, which leads to my question. What's a movie or album that you weren't impressed with at first, but your second watch or listen changed your opinion? Gotta be Purple Rain for me. Like, Purple Rain dropped by Future, then a couple weeks later, Evil dropped. And Purple Rain was fine, but I was like, something else is coming. I just know it. It usually drops in bunches. And it took Evil for me. Like, I really liked Evil, still do, but it took Evil dropping for me to go back and listen to and appreciate Purple Rain. But for the most part, yeah, I'm not a big second chance guy. Right? If I don't like it, I don't like it. That's fine too, but I'm not gonna go back to it. Like an album, maybe. But like a movie or a TV show, nah. Probably not. That's why it's so wild to me. Like, people tell me, like, hey man, I didn't like season 2 of The Wire either. The first 7 times I watched it. But the 8th time I watched it, it'll grow on you, man. Just watch it 6 more times. And I'm like, to each their own. But no. Like, I'm probably going to do a Wire rewatch at some point, and I'm really on the fence whether I'm going to, like, just skip season 2 altogether. But I haven't decided yet. We'll see. Next question. It's from Crawweedy. Says, if it ended COVID as a whole, would you volunteer to be put in the Steiner recliner in the middle of Magic City by Jerry Rice on the first day everyone can go back outside? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I feel like I know exactly what buttons to push. You know what I'm saying? He would just kill me dead. So I'm dead. He's in jail for murder. And COVID is ended. Everybody can go back outside. That's a win-win-win. Max Kellerman. Like, he just had me in hell. Just in hell. I'm in the Steiner recline. I'm just yelling, Moss was better. Jericho Cotchery would have did similar numbers. Wayne Corbett would have did better numbers than you. Give Joe Jervicius, Steve Young, and Joe I just yell out various wide receivers until he just snaps. Like, mentally and also my spine. But absolutely. That's the rare win-win-win. Next question. Can you do a deep dive into the life of Mansa Musa? He was an African king from Mali who's now considered to be, or most likely to be, the wealthiest person who ever lived. Hell yeah, I can do a deep dive on Mansa Musa. Absolutely. So, first things first, fire name alert, Mansa Musa. 10 out of 10 name. Like it was mentioned, the king of Mali, he had a West African empire. This was in the 1300s, which, I don't know, it's however many years ago that was. You know what I mean? And he was known as the richest person in history. So rich that they don't even really have an estimate. They don't even know how much he had. They were just like, no, like this nigga was rich. Here's what I find funny about that, right? I was looking up like the richest people that have ever lived. They got an estimate for Augustus Caesar. They estimated his wealth at $4.6 trillion. And he's second. And he lived in BC. Before Christ, he lived, and they got an estimate. $4.6 trillion. But they don't have no estimate for the brother man. I said, that's pretty interesting. Nevertheless, so Mansa Musa came into power in the 1300s because the previous king went out to explore, was a big explorer, went out to explore the sea and the ocean for as far as he could, like as far as he could see. And he just never came back. Just never came back. Like your boss just going on vacation and just never coming back. It's like, you're in charge now. Now, the thing I want to know is, like, how did they decide he's been gone too long? Like, we need to make a move. You know what I'm saying? How they decide that, like, the 2 days, 4 days, you know what I'm saying? He was gone for 72 hours. And Mansa Musa was, like, moving his shit in. Like, I mean, what can we do? He's never coming back. Can't not have a king. You put that over there. You put the couch, like, against the wall. So I'm curious about that. If he just, like, was he going to check in? But he ain't tweeted in a couple weeks, man. I think he's lost at sea. I think he'd probably want me to take over. But Mansa Musa became rich because he was conquering territories with, like, gold mines and salt mines, and voila, they're his now. You know what I'm saying? He took a play out of the whites playbook. So I can tip my cap to that. I will say, he also owned slaves, right? Thought about not even mentioning that. But part of history is telling the uncomfortable parts too. So there it is. He was a devout Muslim, and he took a trip to Mecca in 1324. And this trip to Mecca is what really, like, put Mali, West Africa, on the map, like physically on the map. Like, they had to, like, start drawing him on the map now. Like, he got so big they could not ignore him. So he took a procession from West Africa to Mecca. And this procession was a 4,000-mile trip. Just for reference, Seattle to Miami is 3,300 miles. So he went from Seattle to Miami and then another 700 miles. And so the caravan of people that he took on this 4,000-mile pilgrimage included 60,000 men, all of them wearing Persian silk. Amongst that included 12,000 slaves. Each slave carried 4 pounds of gold bars. And he had heralds dressed in silks who bore gold staffs, organized horses, and handled bags. Musa provided all necessities for the procession, feeding the entire company of men and animals. The animals included 80 camels, which each carried 50 to 300 pounds of gold dust. All right. One, it's a big range. How you decide which camel get 50, which one get 300. And two, now I'm just imagining, like, camels just going across northern Africa with the wrestler Gold Dust, Dustin Runnels, on his back. Just Mansa Musa and Gold Dust, tag team champions. But along this route to Mecca, he was giving out gold, man. Like, he was giving it to the poor. He was giving it to cities he passed along the way. He passed, like, Cairo and Egypt, Medina. But he was also trading it for souvenirs, right? Like, give a little, get a little. You know what I'm saying? And I read, it was reported that he built a mosque every single Friday. That's kind of fire. right? Like you just are on this trip. It takes God knows how long. And every Friday, wherever you at, we're going to build a mosque. Like it's Friday mosque time. Y'all know what time it is. In this quote, read an article, it says, quote, because of his nature of giving, Musa's massive spending and generous donations created a massive 10-year gold recession. In the cities of Cairo, Medina, and Mecca, the sudden influx of gold devalued the metal significantly. Prices of goods became greatly inflated. This mistake became apparent to Musa, and on his way back from Mecca, he borrowed all the gold he could from the moneylenders in Cairo at extremely high interest. This is the only time recorded in history that one man directly controlled the price of gold in the Mediterranean. Some historians believe the Hajj was less out of religious devotion than to garner international attention to the flourishing state of Mali. The creation of a recession of that magnitude could have been purposeful. After all, Cairo was the leading gold market at the time, where people went to purchase their large amounts of gold. In order to relocate these markets to Timbuktu or Gao, Musa would first have to affect Cairo's gold economy. And Musa made a major point of showing off his nation's wealth, end quote. He dropped the price of gold bullion 20% on his own, just on this trip. That's how much he was giving out. And it took 12 years, over a decade. It took 12 years to recover. And they said the Hajj, he was doing it to flex. Like the Hajj is the pilgrimage to Mecca. And if you're like a Muslim, it's a trip that they believe, you know, if you're physically, financially able to, every Muslim should make that trip. And they say he can't, like, we don't even know if he was really doing it for that. He just wanted to flex. To that, I say, why can't it be both? Why can't he do his, you know what I'm saying, fulfill his religious duties and also flex a little bit? Just give away so much gold, they be like, he giving away gold again? Oh, man, he just gave that away yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So, one of the mosques he built, and I'd encourage you to look this up. It's called the Great Mosque in Timbuktu. He built it in 1327. It still stands today, and it's still fire today. Fire. Just beautiful building. Also, another fire name alert. Timbuktu. I used to hear that shit in like cartoons, man. Once I found out like Kalamazoo was in Michigan, I thought Timbuktu was in like Minnesota. It appears it's not. It appears it's in Western Africa. So he made Timbuktu a center of trade, center of culture, based around Islam, of course. And when he got to Mecca, he brought back scholars to him, brought them back with him to West Africa. They just smelt their money on him. You know what I mean? He handed out the gold. He said, hey, man, how about you come back with me, teach the people what you teaching here, there. And they said, yes, okay, Mansa, we'll do it. So he was attracting the best scholars from Africa, from the Middle East. He built schools and libraries, universities, mosques, and a couple of them are still standing to this day, which is kind of wild because, you know somebody would try to take down what the brother man built up. But that's a testament to how well they were built. And Mansa Musa, they know that he died at 57. They don't know how much money he had. They know he died when he was 57. And so I looked up the lifespan back then, right? Because I was like, 57, you know what I'm saying? It sounds young to us. But back then, 57 was probably, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, he's a king. He lived twice as long as anybody else. No. I found the lifespan of scholars in the medieval Islamic world, 8th century to 14th century, which is exactly when he lived. You know what the lifespan was then? 59 to 84 years. 59 to 84 years. So I'm definitely smelling a little foul play, right? He had an army of 100,000. Like, that's how they conquered all these places. So he was well protected. He had the best doctors and all that. And the richest man in the world dies at 57 when the lifespan started 59 back then. So I'm definitely smelling a little foul play. You know what I mean? I definitely smell a little foul play. But that was a Mansa Musa little deep dive. I feel like I wanted to find more. I could really just find just how much he was balling on this trip, man. Just balling on this trip. Just giving out so much. Like if somebody just walked around and handed out cash. Like say they were to walk out and give away, I don't know, $2,000. Some sort of payment to stimulate the economy, right? And they just gave it so much. Here's 2,000. You get 2,000. You get 2,000. You get 2,000. Everybody has so much money that the value went down. Because the people with a lot of money was like, hey, man, what the hell? The value of us having this money is that some people have none of it. If everybody's got money, nobody's got money. That's the kind of time Mansa Musa was on. He said, I don't care. I'll literally just go back and make some more money. We'll just mine it. It's gold. We'll literally mine it and take it. Or we'll mine the salt and sell that for money, which we'll use to buy gold, which we'll then give away. So that's the Mansa Musa deep dive. We'll get back to a few questions. Got one from Thriana Mack. Says, what the hell is this? And why is this person not in jail? It's linked to a tweet, and the tweet is a jar of peanut butter. I'm sure you've seen this by now. The peanut butter is scooped like perfectly in half. Right? Like when somebody, they basically, it looks like they cut it right down the center and just removed half of it. Just removed half of it. That's chaos. Again, I won't say it's crime, but it's definitely pre-crime. Like I can even, I can see like sticking to one side. You know what I'm saying? If you just, you go to one side, but slicing it down the middle with like laser precision, that's craziness. It's almost as bad. I know y'all seen this. Y'all remember? I mean, multiple people do it. They will bite they unwrap a Kit Kat and just bite the whole top instead of eating one cat at a time. That's crazy. And in that thread, the peanut butter thread, which I will not link to because nobody needs to see this. There was one that was even scarier than this one. There was a guy in there who just scoops a hole in the center. Just in the center, it's just a hole. It should look like a fleshlight. Or what I've been told a fleshlight looks like. And then while we're on that, y'all remember when they put peanut butter and jelly in the same jar? They did like pinwheeled it, like peanut butter jelly, no baseball bat. But that shit like a crime scene, man. And this really y'all peanut butter, that's y'all favorite food? Well, I guess. Next question. It's a two-parter. But it's kind of just a one-parter. First part says, you ever think about how Justin Timberlake had 2 attempts to make his own Jordan 3s and they both stank? Then the second part, it said, what artist or company do you think made the best pair of Jordan? And I asked that because Justin Timberlake made 2 pairs of Jordan 3s that stink. I have thought about that quite a bit. And you know what hurts the most about those Justin Timberlake, the 3s that they made? Like you see them like from the back, right? You see like the Nike Air logo with the check. You see the elephant print. You see like the red tongue. You like, hey, now wait a minute now. Wait a minute. And then you see the sides. And then also the front. And you just vomit. I think that's what make it the worst. That shoe was really, and it feels even strange to say, it was cursed by the Nike check. You know what I mean? Like it's such a good logo that they thought they could just throw it on there and save any shoe. But no dice. No dice. And maybe, I think it's got to be the first shoe that I've seen the check ruin. And I mean, also having Justin Timberlake's name on it. Gotta, you know what I'm saying? That kind of ruined it too. But for the companies that, like the best Jordan and companies or artist collabs, a lot of them stink, man. Most of them really stink. And I looked at some to make sure. A lot of them are just horrible. But the Travis Scott, the 4s that Travis Scott did, those were all right. The Cactus Jack on the back, the blue, those were solid. The off-white 4s, I thought those were pretty solid. And so I've come to the realization, maybe I just like Jordan 4s. I don't know if it's because they're the best platform if you do it right, or if I just like them. But those are probably 2 of my favorite. The Dior Jordans, those are tough. Those are pretty tough. I was gonna say it's hard to mess that up, but we've seen so many easy things botched. So those are probably the top 3. And let me just say this while we're here. It's been some talk, and I think Timberland started it, that there's going to be a versus, or that he wants a versus of Justin Timberlake versus Usher, where they go against each other and play in the hits. Let's not disrespect Usher like this ever again. Okay? Ever again. Because if they do 20 songs, it won't be a clean sweep. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy talk. I give Justin Rock Your Body, Cry Me a River, Senorita, and that's it. The other 17 are going to Usher. The other 17 are going to Usher. You Make Me Wanna, Nice and Slow, My Way, You Remind Me, You Got It Bad, You Don't Have to Call, Yeah, Let It Burn, Lovers and Friends, Throwback Remix, Confessions Part 1, Confessions Part 2, My Boo, Caught Up, Loving This Club, Here I Stand, Good Kisser, Let Me See. You know what I'm saying? That's 17, 18 right there. And those ain't even the best 17, 18. I ain't even getting to I Need a Girl. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get into Red Light. I ain't get into Bad Girl. I ain't get into That's What It's Made For. So let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's not even joke around with Usher versus Timberlake in a battle, because Timberlake does not want that smoke. It's not a knock to him. Usher just got bangers, decades and decades of bangers. So no, Timberland, respectfully. Next question. What coach do you think would succeed if he was required to coach a different sport? For example, if Brad Stevens and Belichick switched jobs for a season, who would do better? Guys that I think would translate, I feel like Popovich would. I feel like Greg Popovich would. And as I think about that, I was like, he should probably just be like a baseball manager. Like, he'd be sitting on the sideline looking sloppy anyway for 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? And for all his teams, you always get like a base level of like respect, of effort, of fundamentals, no matter the team, the star players or not. So I feel like he'd translate reasonably well. I think Larry Brown would be like a great football coach. Like, he would ride his best player hard. His best player would have 572 carries the first year. But they'd win. They win a Super Bowl like year 1 or 2. They have like 2 more years after that. They hate him by year 4, and he's out the door. That's best case scenario for a football coach. Belichick. I do think Belichick would do well. It just feels like they said he can coach every position on the football team. I feel like that would translate. Like, he just understands everybody's role well enough. Like, he understands what you're supposed to be doing as a pick and roll ball handler, as the pick man, when to fade, when to roll to the rim, how to defend it, how to go under screen. I feel like he would just understand and be able to communicate that. And quiet as it's kept, I think John Calipari would be a decent football coach. Like, along like the John Harbaugh type, right? Like, he have an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator. So he's not handling the main stuff. That's where his flaws are, the main stuff. He just get to do like the press conferences, be animated on the sideline. Man, he basically be Pete Carroll. You know what I'm saying? They love Pete Carroll. So I think those couple, but I think Larry Brown make a hell of a football coach, man. Like, the defensive lineman is choking Larry Brown on the sideline as the clock runs out. They've won the Super Bowl, but Larry Brown is unconscious. And after they get over it, they'd have a laugh. It'd be all good. Next question comes from Jim Jam. Jim Jam says, please, a deep dive into this minor team baseball league merch. And the baseball team, they're the Rocky Mountain Vibes. Great name. Great name. And the Vibes is in fire. And it's on a bat. But the logo is where they make their hay, because their logo is a s'more. He got a marshmallow head. His head is on fire. He got graham crackers on his arms like Kevlar. He got blue pants and red boots. Red boots. The graham crackers brown. Those are not his pants. And the vibe, like the Rocky Mountain Vibes, Rocky Mountain High, that's just strong. That's just strong. They also got, I don't know where it fits in, but they got some of like I don't even know how to say it, like the Day of the Dead, like the skulls. You know what I'm saying? But they made it baseball, and the shit looked good. It's good, good merch. Like, more teams should honestly hire minor league, like, design teams, and if they got the fire clothes, they got the fire merch, fire names. Like the Montgomery Biscuits great minor league team, and they got biscuits on the menu. They be throwing biscuits in the, like some people throw T-shirts in the crowd. They throw biscuits. I'd much rather have a biscuit than a T-shirt. I got dozens of T-shirts. I don't have any biscuits right now, so give me the biscuit. The Macon Bacon, of course, great minor league team, and RIP to the hockey team also out of Macon, the Macon Whoopie. Great team name. The Binghamton Rumble Ponies. And their logo is just like an angry-ass horse with a boxing glove and a baseball bat. Like he really trying to give you the static. The Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs is a good one. The Rocket City Trash Pandas. The Richmond Flying Squirrels. Like, it's a lot of good ones. That's why it's so disappointing to, you see like, oh, we got some new uniforms for the Brooklyn Nets. What do we have? Black and white. Okay. We could have put Rocky Mountain Vibes or a s'more or something cool on it. Black and white. What about the court? Make it gray. Awesome. Love that. So, yeah, no, I might have to get a little Rocky Mountain Vibes gear, man. Because that s'more look like he here to party. He here for a good time, not a long time, because he's a s'more. You know what I mean? Next, we got Black King Soul and L Broads taking over the pod for a minute. A couple weeks ago, Black King asked me, he's like, hey, WrestleMania is coming up. WrestleMania is this upcoming Sunday, I believe. He's like, what about a couple minutes for me and the gang talk some WrestleMania? I said, done deal. So the next voices you will be hearing, a little WrestleMania talk, will be Black King Soul and L Broads. Take it away, fellas.
Is it recording? It is recording. Hello, Fun Report. This is attempt number 2 of the Grapple guys, minus Jim Jam. Unfortunately, he was on the first recording. But this is your boy Black King Soul and your boy L Broads.
How's it going, everyone?
We're here. This is our first time technically on the Fun Report. We just want to talk about wrestling. I mean, the Royal Rumble's coming up, but mostly, well, we were going to talk about the Royal Rumble. Last week we talked about the Royal Rumble, but this time when we're doing the actual recording that's going to go up, bigger news has kind of popped off, and WWE has sold their network to Peacock.
Yeah. When I saw this yesterday, I just woke up to it and I just saw the tweet you actually sent in the Discord. And I was like, that's interesting. So they're just going to they're going to make it available for pay-per-views to just be on Peacock if people want to watch them. And then I I looked more into it and I saw, it was just the networks being completely sold to NBC Universal.
It's crazy.
It's wild. I was like, there's a lot of implications to this, obviously. Like, I knew WWE for a while had been thinking about selling their pay-per-view rights or selling their streaming rights, just trying to get something going, trying to get more fan interest, and selling it to as big of a platform like NBC Universal and putting it on a newer streaming service, which with like other content on NBC is definitely probably going to get more eyes on the product. So
Vince made $1 billion off of it.
Yep.
Actually nuts, because the network only had like 1 million subscribers at $10 a month, which is like $10 million a year. They've been doing it for like 6 years, roughly similar numbers. He just blew that out the water. He's going to make like quadruple the amount that he's made in the past 6 years on the network in 1 year underneath this Peacock deal. And it's going to get more eyes on the product. So it's going to grow. And I really think this is specifically interesting because not only did they buy it, they cut the price in half. So it's much more accessible. It's going to come with Peacock Premium. So like if you already got Peacock, you're going to have access to like old wrestling content, current pay-per-views. The first pay-per-view is going to be Fastlane, but WrestleMania is coming up. Like everybody's going to basically have access to WrestleMania for no additional cost. It saves me some money because I'm not paying for the network anymore. And I think I am already paying for Peacock. So that saves me money. I'm just, I'm about the whole thing, saving dollars left and right.
Yeah, I think it's a big time decision in terms of it keeps the fans happy as well. Because obviously, unless there are people who want to pay for like the NBC Premium Plus or Peacock Premium Plus, which is like $10 a month, I think that just takes away some of the ads, which I mean, I've never really saw ads as a big deal anyway. So
for $5, I'll do some ads.
Exactly. Like you're cutting the price in half for your already existing subscribers who already love the network. Like I'm sure you do, and I do myself, because it's just a wonderful place with so many options, so much content, where you can everything from old wrestling to like the 24 documentaries they do, which are phenomenal, to just everything in general. So I think this was a big move for them to keep their current fan base happy, make them even happier by making them pay less as well as hopefully bring in some new eyes to the product by, again, you already have the content you can see that NBC puts out, like some of their shows and stuff. But now, just for $5 a month, you also have access to a whole new library of just old school wrestling, whether it's WWE or it's WCW, NWA,
and I'm my bad. I'm also interested in seeing like if that indie content, some of the stuff from current wrestlers, but from their time in independence is still going to come with it, because that'll be interesting for me.
Yeah.
I wonder how far back they're going to go, because like you don't necessarily need to be going back to like the 60s and watching Smoky Mountain Wrestling, watching Harley race matches and Superstar Billy Graham. Well, I mean, people are going to want to go back, because I mean that's kind of WWE's demographic, but I feel like there's a specific demographic, if you will. As a wrestling fan, I hate the word demographic, because that shit is weaponized as fuck on Twitter. For nerd reasons, but
ratings and stupid reasons.
Right. Just something for people to fight over. Yeah,
exactly. And like, again, it's great that, like you said, like I'm sure, I don't know how far back they're going to go either with the content. Like if they're just going to obviously keep like the regular content they have on the network now, I'm sure now with the hopes of a much wider audience, they'll add more stuff as well. Maybe some newer shows, maybe some, again, older content or stuff that wasn't on the network before. But either way, again, I think you put it really well earlier as well when you mentioned it starts around, I think it's Fastlane is the first pay-per-view Peacock on. So just in time for WrestleMania season, this honestly is brilliant timing and marketing by
right. They're going to catch a lot of like lapsed fans, especially because it's on streaming. You're going to catch a lot of those people who were like, who grew up on the Attitude Era, but like fell off. Those people who are in their like late 20s, early 30s, even like late 30s, 40s. Like it's going to reach like a huge audience, and I'm excited about it. And I'm excited that wrestling content is finally in a place that it is going to be more mainstream. Like the IP is going to be more mainstream. And I think that's their goal. They're trying to take, like I heard Vince say, they're trying to take the WWE IP up there with Marvel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as getting their characters off. And this is a step in the right direction.
It's perfect. Like they've done, again, a brilliant job in terms of marketing it. And I think, like you said, like getting wrestling into the mainstream is such a important aspect now, especially because they obviously have been putting out, depending on what shows you watch, they've been putting out a solid product, as we've talked about before. SmackDown is just a fantastic show.
SmackDown.
And so getting more eyes on shows like that and getting more people to back into wrestling, like you said, after those who probably dropped off after Attitude Era, those who maybe watched like Ruthless Aggression and then dropped off, like just bringing
who wouldn't drop off
more
after the Ruthless Aggression Era.
I can't blame anyone. Like I'm surprised. I started watching in 2010 and I'm surprised I was able to kind of stay from there.
Man, you hit a beautiful spot to start, let me tell you, man. Like because the early 2000s is a grab bag for quality, dog. You started like right when the women start like tapping in. NXT is about to start going. Daniel Bryan's like first, like, man, that's a great time to start.
I got in at a good time because, like you said, I think Daniel Bryan is a really good shout out for that as well, because that's when he you saw his rise to the top over those next few years. And then in general, that was right before the summer of Punk as well, which is one of my favorite times in wrestling as a fan.
Oh yeah, great time.
Like I started watching like half a year before that, so it's whether it ends like general again dropped off of wrestling and has been looking to get back into it, which we've seen some of the members of the Discord talking about wanting to get back into it. This is kind of the perfect way to do so, because again, it's paying half the price as it was before monthly, and you get access to all of NBC stuff, plus you get access to this entire new wrestling library. So it's just great move.
Well, hey, with the Royal Rumble coming up, you got any like suggestions? You got a favorite Rumble?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I personally this kind of probably shows my age when it comes to wrestling as well. But 2018, I think, is
young.
a
If you
very
didn't, if you haven't forgotten,
Yeah.
he's young.
if you don't forget that I'm like the youngest person in the entire Discord. But like
I'm like 23, so I'm pretty young too. So
yeah, we've got some others who are as well, but they just obviously it's me they pick on, but which is completely fair. I get it. Yeah, it's fair. But yeah, no, 2018, in my opinion, is one of my favorite Rumbles that I've seen because it was the one that Shinsuke won, and it was when he was finally making his rise to the top of the card. That Rumble itself was just fantastic.
It's a great match.
It's a great match because you had Rey Mysterio's return, you had some surprise entrants that I'm blanking on right now, but there was a lot of good stuff in that Rumble. You had that face off between, I think it was John Cena, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
So like
it's like wow,
big
the past generation. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the past versus like the present / future, because then it was Balor, Shinsuke, and Roman on the other side. And you had that big face off at the end of the match. And just it's so much star power in that ring. And that's probably one of, if not my favorite Rumble match of the past 10 years.
My favorite's gotta be, I think it was 2008. And my parents had bought the Royal Rumble for me for my birthday. Maybe it was 2007. No. It had to be 2008. It was the year John Cena, like, he tore his pec, like, off the bone, like, completely tore it. And then came back in like 3 months or something, like something completely ridiculous. And he just shows up at the Royal Rumble, and I almost broke my television. I almost broke my TV. It was too cool. I just heard the music.
Yeah, it was insane. Like Yeah. It was just crazy because I remember I've gone back and I've watched that Rumble, and obviously like that's a big thing is because Cena's superhuman ability to recover has been like a big thing that people know about. Obviously,
like LeBron
wrestling.
James.
Yeah, it's insane. Like he just doesn't, like he gets hurt, but when he gets hurt, he comes back in 2 months. Like, and so that was a big like example of that. Like you said, I think he went out with a torn pec in like October, so a few months before, and then he was supposed to be out like 6 months to a year, and he comes back in 3, like looking perfectly fine.
Too. I think he might have dropped the belt.
Yeah. So it was just that's a really good shout out as well. I think last year's Rumble as well was great. Like I think that's a really good Rumble match that we.
Last year's Rumble, that's in my top three, maybe I think top 3, because the story they were telling with Brock and Drew and kind of the new guy taking down the old elder statesman, and even not even elder statesman, the old monster who's just been wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
He's like 42, scary and racist looking, and it was a great time.
That's completely right. It was a great time because like you remember as well, like when they brought Drew in, it was to the part where it was starting to get it went from being funny to kind of just starting to get annoying with how long Brock was in there just eliminating everyone. Like they brought him in at just the perfect time.
I think Drew was number probably 15 or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Like it was right. I remember it was a tale of two halves of that Rumble because it was just Brock dominating one half, and then like you said, they brought Drew in. Then chaos from there. You had Edge's return, which actually.
Oh my God, Edge's return.
The day of recording was a year anniversary of that Rumble and when that happened, and that was
gosh, it is.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter earlier, and it's one of the most chill-inducing moments ever that I've seen live as a wrestling fan. Like it was cool.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. In closing, because I think we're kind of running up on our time here. If we haven't already gone over it. Who are the people we're looking out for in the Rumble? Mine are I'd say, I think The Rock is going to be there. I think The Rock. I don't know, but I just have a feeling. That he's going to win, but in reality, he's somebody to watch. You want to watch Daniel Bryan. On the women's side, I want to say watch Rhea Ripley from NXT. I think she's moving up. And who are your picks? I'll leave one on the table for you.
I think I'm on the side with you of Daniel Bryan. I think he's one to look out for. I think a story with him and Roman going into WrestleMania for the Universal title with face Bryan and heel Roman could be fantastic with how talented both of those two are at their respective roles. And then women's side, I'd say look out for Bianca Belair.
Belair. Hey, if you haven't seen her clip on Twitter, I'll when the Fun Report drops, I'll probably
link it somewhere. But
Mhm.
she runs this obstacle course against Bailey, one of the greatest women's wrestlers.
Oh, that was so good.
It's amazing. She lifts like this 350-pound dude and like
Oh,
walks like 15 feet with him.
Yep.
And it's just it's great stuff. Bianca is the real deal. She's a star.
She's a
crossover star.
Superstar in the making. I don't want to take up too much time, but yeah, she's superstar in the making. She is, as you can see, they're building her up really well. And I would love to see her, even if she doesn't win, I want to see her just give like an all out, like maybe an Iron Woman performance where she lasts a long time in the Rumble. Just, I want to see her get her moment in spotlight because she's just incredible athlete, uber talented at basically everything she can do in wrestling. So that segment on SmackDown with her and Bailey with the obstacle course was so good. So watch it if you haven't yet.
Yeah. Well, all right. I'd say that was a great first pod.
Well, fantastic.
We got to do that again, of course. Yeah. But yeah, thanks again to Trill Withers for letting us get the time, and thank you to the CPFs.
Yeah.
And,
we out.
All right.
Back with some post WrestleMania talk thoughts. First off, my man Bras recording from a submarine. That boy 20,000 leagues under the sea. My second thought was, man, y'all young as hell, boy. That was just, like, that's really just the whole thought. Not good or bad or even judgmental. Just like, man, y'all young as hell. Bananas. I know Bras just turned 14. I think Black King just turned 15. It's all good. I gotta say, I didn't have any idea about the WWE and the Peacock deal. Like, that feels major. Especially if they're gonna be, you know, if the library comes with it, if the streaming stuff comes with it for either included or a lower price, feels easier to access. But I also saw earlier this week, like, the NBC Sports Network was shutting down. I don't think that was related to this, but that also feels major. But WWE making moves, man. And something else came to mind. Got asked last week about watching WrestleMania. I forgot one experience. The last WrestleMania that I watched, or like partially watched, was actually 2 years ago. When Barstool was in town for the Super Bowl, they was watching the WrestleMania on tape delay because everybody had like a number that correlated with a wrestler. Whoever's won, they won the pot. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Devlin won, right? And I was going in and out to get baked with whoever was stepping in and out. But I did see some of it. Like, I don't remember who won. I don't remember who was in it. I remember thinking, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Oh, yeah, I know who that. Nah, I don't know who that is. But that was actually the last time. And if I heard you correctly, Ken, you said The Rock? Because if The Rock going to be in there, if Spencer Strasmore is going to be in there, I might have to tune in a little bit. You know what I mean? I might have to watch it. And I also found out, like, they got the Ladies Royal Rumble. And apparently, again, they have enough, like, good actual lady wrestlers where they don't just put them out there like they were just eye candy. And, like, when I was watching wrestling. They have, like, actual wrestlers. But I also saw a video of, y'all mentioned Bianca Belair. I saw a video of her this week. She was jumping rope with her ponytail. And I remember thinking, I would like for her to strangle me with that very same ponytail. So if she's there and Spencer Strasmore is there, I might just tap in. Might tap in for a little WrestleMania. But thank you, gentlemen. Got a couple more wrestling fight related questions. Got one from Hot Boy Ho Grum himself. It says, hello, user Grum here with another wrestling related question. You're asked to do a 5-minute back and forth promo with another person in the middle of the ring on Monday Night Raw, which does not stand for Real Ass Wrestling. People don't know that. But you can choose your promo opponent, but be careful because they may just lay a punch to start a pull-apart brawl. So who's getting the verbal smackdown from Trilly in the middle of the ring before the thousands in attendance and the millions around the world? I got three. Ho Grum. First one, Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's the first one, right? Because we'll be going back and forth, and he just might start rapping, and I might lay the smackdown first. And also, like, if he get the first lick in, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I could eat that jab. I feel like I could eat that. And then I just throw him over the top of the ring like garbage. 2, Be P. Diddy, man. P. Diddy, a horrible boss from the sound of it. Great shit talker though. He basically be talking like that black Ted DiBiase $1 billion man shit. So I know Diddy would definitely be talking that talk in the middle of the ring. And the last one, Drill. Famous tweeter Drill. I feel like he would just talk some great shit and he would say something that nobody in the arena understands or thinks is funny but me. And while I'm like belly laughing just uproariously, that's when he attacks me. And I can honestly say it'd be an honor to be put in the sharpshooter by Drill. I'd say, yes, sir. Thank you for your service. So those were the three that came to mind for cutting a promo. Next question from Neezus out of here. Neezus said, I'm watching the King Kong vs. Godzilla trailer and it gave me a thought, Trio. Are there any favorite monster matchups that you would like to see? Possibly a pay-per-view card, Dracula vs. Frankenstein, Swamp Thing vs. the Wolfman. I'd personally have Kong in a mean 7-game series, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. I got a couple, Neezus, you know what I mean? Give me Wendigo versus Slender Man. Like, we got a full card here. I want Behemoth versus Leviathan, just the biblical battle of two beasts who probably never existed. But who's to say any of these existed? And then except for the Egyptian, the Amit, I don't know how you say it, but y'all seen it got like the head of a crocodile. It's got the front legs of a lion and the back legs of a hippo. Like it apparently eats your soul after you die. So I want to see the Amit versus Medusa. Just an old time smackdown. Give me the Abominable Snowman versus Scylla, like the big water monster. A lot of water monsters here. A lot of water monsters. Like you mentioned, Dracula versus Frankenstein, Swamp Thing versus Wolfman. I want a tag team. I want Frankenstein and Dracula versus Swamp Thing and the Wolfman. Give me Frankenstein and Dracula there. But I think it'd be a good battle. And for the final match, I want a Royal Rumble. I want a Royal Rumble with Sasquatch, Godzilla, King Kong, the Loch Ness, a goblin, a ghoul, and a conscienceless zombie. With Early Earl Hebner refereeing. Right? They're just going at it. Whoever's standing last gets to take on Sugar Bear for the right to have Sugar Bear whoop your ass for 147 straight weeks in a row. So that's I'd be watching that on the Peacock. You can believe that. Next question. So what would your wrestling character be? Like babyface or a heel? Do you have a gimmick? What's your finisher? Secondly, I'm a Bucks fan. This year I've been rooting for Tom Brady. Am I a bad person? I'll answer the second part first. Yes. And the first part, I can't remember. I think I got asked this, but I'm really leaning into I'll just be the fake son of D'Lo Brown, man. Like, I got to win the Intercontinental belt. I got to win the European belt, just like Pops. I might bring back the Nation of Domination. I feel like we got enough black wrestlers now. Bring back the Nation of Domination. Get the homeboy Jim Johnston to remix the old D'Lo Brown song. And I make the chest protector a Kevlar. You know what I'm saying? You just update it with the times. I feel like you got to be a baby, like your son of a baby face. I feel like you got to be a baby face. So I'm definitely a baby face. My finishing move, give me like the old lowdowns, the frog splash. But I'm putting a little flip in the middle. Put a little pizzazz on it. Kind of like if you remember the Billy Kidman shooting star press, where he would just flip backwards and then frog splash. Think of that. And I'm calling it the lowdown. So yeah, just give me a fake son of D'Lo Brown. I think I could work that angle. I think I can make that work. Next question. That's not even a question. We'll get into a couple of NBA questions, but it's just killing me, man. I've said it before, like nobody in NBA media likes the NBA. And now I feel like it's coming from both sides. It's coming from like the media and the players. It's coming from the analytics and the writers and the eye test and the former players. It's like what are they supposed to do? And what made me think of that most recently is I was listening to Brian Windhorst from ESPN, and he said, and I quote, I stopped the podcast and wrote this down. I wanted to get the quote right. And said Zion, as in Williamson, Zion is not a guy that's developed his offensive game. Zion is not a guy that's developed his offensive game. Zion Williamson is 20 years old. Zion Williamson has played in 38 NBA games. His first season last year started with an injury and it ended being cut short due to COVID. His second season started late, also due to COVID. He's played 38 games, not even half of a regular season. And Brian Windhorst, who has covered the league for years, decades, says he hasn't developed his offensive game. And even with that, for his career, Zion's at 23 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, getting to the line 7 times a game and shooting 58% from the field. Right? Now, is he a complete player? No. Does he have some things to work on? For sure. As I would imagine any player who can't yet legally drink and has yet to play in even half of a regular season. Like that's chaos to me. And this is on the heels of Shaq, like the Shaq Donovan Mitchell thing. And good Lord, far be it from me to defend Donovan Mitchell. I'll never forgive Shaq for this. But Shaq said the Donovan Mitchell quote, "You don't have what it takes to get to the next level." Right? And I don't know what it was at the time, but I know as of right now, at this point, the Jazz have won 10 straight. Like, they got the best record in the league. And Donovan Mitchell is somebody who like made the first All-Star game last year and could probably make it again this year. He's improved his game every year. He's made the playoffs every year. He's coming off the crazy Nuggets series where he averaged 36 points a game on 53, 52, 95 shooting. Now they lost. It wasn't his fault. So he got to score all the points, hit all the shots, and play the defense too. And Donovan Mitchell is 24 years old. He also started playing basketball full time relatively late. Like, he was a baseball guy, right? So I don't even know what year full, you know what I'm saying, devoted to basketball year this is for Donovan Mitchell. So to say that you don't see a guy getting to the next level, like what are we doing here? Why does nobody in the media like basketball? Like, look at, I feel like I say it every time, but it never happened. Like, if you look at James Harden's numbers from age 21 to 23, 23 to 25 to 27. Look at Bradley Beal's numbers at the same ages. Look at Jaylen Brown from 2 years ago, right? When he was averaging like 13 points a game and could dribble straight, and that was about it. And now he averaging like 26 a game. Look at Dame Lillard. Dame, it was like, oh, yeah, the guy won Rookie of the Year. Oh, okay, hit a little game-winning shot. Oh, okay, now he's shooting from 47 feet away. Right? Like, why are we so quick to limit and put ceilings on guys? I don't get it. And I say this as somebody that I was like relatively high on Jaylen Brown when he came out, and he still exceeded my expectations. Like, I'm happy to be wrong. That guy's incredible. He's having a tremendous year. So what is it to say? Like, yeah, no, this is just the best he'll get. No, Donovan, no, he's 24. He'll be 27 soon. 27 is almost 30, and 30 is almost dead, if I understand things to be correct. So, like, I just don't, like, what's the next level for Donovan Mitchell look like? Because it sounds like I don't see you winning a championship, which is one thing. That's one thing to say, but to say I don't see you reaching the next level, well, I don't understand why we keep, like, putting a ceiling on guys. And again, it's not to say there's not room for improvement. Of course there is, but I feel like why can't they get there first? Like Giannis, back-to-back MVPs, back-to-back number 1 seeds, hasn't made the finals yet, like fell short in both years. I think it's fair to start asking those questions, right? Fair to start, like, hey, what is it about his game that's not translating? Does he have what it takes to, like, mold, shift his game, contribute in other ways, whatever? I think it's fair to start asking those questions. Zion Williamson is 20 years old, man. I just couldn't believe that, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. So it's like, if you're a basketball player, the media going to ask you crazy questions. The media on Twitter gonna call you a bitch. The former players gonna tell you ain't got what it takes to get to the next level. And the analytics gonna tell you stink. So I don't know what's left. I don't know what's left or where this even goes from here. But I'll quit yelling now. Next question. Can we give a little love to Colin Sexton? He's having a tremendous season so far, and I think he can get some serious most improved player consideration. Bonus question. Honor the Chiefs and Andy Reid going for the back-to-back. Can we get some of your favorite Tom Brody tweets? Again, second part first. Hell yeah, you can get some of my favorite Tom Brody tweets. You know, this year, it'll be 5 years since Tom passed away, man. 5 years this year. And I know he'd have some good pandemic tweets, man. I know he had just some gold. Just some gold. So my favorite 5 of the day, of course, these are subject to change. An old classic, the Shutterstock basketball image, and just adding LeBron James. You like what you see? It's simple. It's perfect. That's like Tom ain't even, like he didn't even get to play with the 280 characters really. You know what I'm saying? This feel like seeing, like it's probably what Babe Ruth was. They were like, man, he hitting 50 home runs. Everybody else is hitting 17. They'd be like, what if he was on PEDs? It's like, those weren't invented yet. He probably would have loved to. He'd much rather eat a hot dog and drink a beer. So Tom, yeah, he was something special. But that's my first one. Second one is, I've wanted to dive since the day I was born. I say into the drive-thru mic at Wendy's at 4 a.m. They aren't even open until 6. Next one, and the one I'm guessing inspired this question. One time in 2006, I was in the Eagles locker room after the players left, and I saw Andy Reid eating a football with a fork and knife. Next one. Doctor, how did you dislocate your shoulder so bad? Me. I was trying to throw a rock into the sun. Doctor. Wow, that is fucking awesome. And the 5, again, these are in no order. The last one is, I used to mess with a coworker by waiting till his lunch was done microwaving, then beating him to the kitchen and throwing it in the trash. Just imagine that you thinking about your lunch all day, you heating it up, and you just hear you hear footsteps running, man, and it's just bro dude just spiking your shit in the trash. So those are my favorite 5 from Tom for the day. Rest in peace to a real one. And for Colin Sexton, y'all remember this? Remember, there's a quote I found from an article a couple years ago. It's becoming increasingly clear that when you hear a Cavs veteran talk about younger players not knowing their role or knowing how to win or what to do on the court, they mean Sexton. Throughout the organization, the line on Sexton is that he does not know how to play. He doesn't know how to defend the pick and roll. He doesn't know how to set up teammates as a point guard. They know he's 19 and only played 1 year of college ball. They still think he's a nice kid, but they see his deficiencies. They know he's going to be on the court, and they're discouraged when after these losses, he doesn't seem bothered by them. End quote. Y'all remember that? That was 2 years ago, Colin Sexton's rookie year. Right? First year Braun was in LA. And the leftovers, the hangover, I'm guessing like the Tristan Thompsons, Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, was like, man, oh man, this 19-year-old guy after 1 year of college ball, he doesn't know all the intricacies of the NBA. And now 2 years later, he had 25 a night. He's shooting 52% from the field, 47 from 3, 81 from the line. He's finishing better at the rim. He's getting to the rim more. He's using the ball more, passing more, turning it over less, competing more on defense. So he's definitely got a chance for most improved. And he's another one. When I say, like, why are we putting caps on these guys? Like, again, if you looked at Luka year 1 to year 2, that was incredible leap. Who's to say where Luka going to be at 25, 27, 29? Colin Sexton is, I think, 21 right now. And he's at an efficient 25 a game. Right? Like, can we just not put a cap on guys until, like, we see they've been capped? I don't know. What the hell am I even talking about? Next question. Who's not making first team out of KD, Joel Embiid, Giannis, and LeBron? This caused me to look at like the whole All NBA. All NBA this year is going to be chaos. Especially there's still 3 teams. It should be 4, if not 5. Just saying. But just consider like of Anthony Davis, Embiid, Jokic, somebody getting third team of those guys. right? I think it'll probably be 80. Like none of the Lakers, they're all playing 22 minutes a game. They haven't really like turned it up yet. But 80's at 22, 9, 4 assists, a steal and a half, and 2 blocks. And he'll probably be third team. Jokic at 25, 12, and 9 assists, he'll probably be second team. So to answer the question, well, I'll go more centers first. Like Embiid's at 28 and 12. He's an MVP candidate. He making first team. So of the guys on that list, I don't think Embiid got anything to worry about. But other centers, like again, for three center spots, 80 Embiid, Jokic, you got Vucevic at 24 and 11. You got Bam at 21, 9, and 5 assists. You got Christian Wood at 24 points and 10 boards. Forwards, you got Giannis at 27, 10, and 5. KD's killing. Kawhi is shooting 50, 40, 90 and averaging 26 a game. Paul George is shooting 50, 40, 90, averaging 24 a game. Zion's at 23 and 8. Julius Randle's at 23, 11, and 6, another most improved candidate. Domantas Sabonis is at 20 points, 12 boards, 6 assists. Jeremy Grant averaging 25 a game. Gordon Hayward's having a great year. Brandon Ingram's having another good year. Chris Middleton's on pace for another 50, 40, 90. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, each averaging 27 a game. And we got to pick 6 spots. 6 of those guys make the forward team All-NBA. So to answer the question, who's not on first team, I think it'll probably be LeBron. Just because, again, like his numbers are career low, but his minutes are at a career low. They're going to do that. It'll be like, the cycle. He gets slighted. Wash King starts up next year, and next season he go crazy. That's the cycle. Because Giannis is still killing. Like, he's not going to get the MVP votes, but if he makes like another first team all defense and at 27, 10, and 5, he'll be there. Durant is like I would say the lock, but he's probably the closest lock, man. Just like, hey, welcome back. You're 30, a 7-footer, and had the worst basketball injury historically. And you're averaging 30 points on a 52% shooting. You're probably going to be first team. But for the guards, again, 6 spots. You got Beal at 34 a night. Zach LaVine, CJ McCollum, those guys averaging 27 a night. You got James Harden, you got Steph, Dame, Luka. Like Trae Young's heating back up. Sexton got to be in that mix. Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker. All those guys I just listed. I listed 30 players. That was 30 players for 15 spots. Now, some would say that there's a lot of good players in the NBA. Not me. Not me. And just consider this. All those 30 names, literally 30 names I just listed, these are all-stars from last year. Here's a list of all-stars from last year, the most recent all-star game that I didn't mention. Kemba Walker, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, Chris Paul, Rudy Gobert, Russell Westbrook, right? And some of those, like, for whatever reason, injuries, slow start to the season, new team, whatever. But that's how crazy it is. That 8 guys were all-stars last year and won't even be considered this year. And it's still going to be full. Like, we might see Bradley Beal averaging 40 a game. And it's like, yeah, just not an all-star, man. Just too much talent. And Bradley Beal finally just loses his shit. So, yeah, I think LeBron probably slides to second team. But we'll see. He's a father of 3, so I wouldn't put a whole lot past him, even if he is playing. I know he's shooting the hell out of the ball, playing some of his most efficient ball, but counting numbers might actually come back to bite him this year. Next question. It says, maybe a deep dive, but say the NBA has created an Offensive Player of the Year award and has tasked you to retroactively give this award since 2010. If this award changes how you feel, or who you feel would have won MVP in a particular year, change that as well. Good question. Hashtag deep dive. We're putting that on the deep dive list. Not covering it today because that one's going to take some thought and research, but it's on the deep dive list. Rest assured. Next question. From El Broad, our in-house wrestling expert. Says, a Celtics fan, this concerns me. Please help me figure out why Marcus Smart insists on taking as many shots as he wants. I love him, but I need it to end, says Bronze. And the quote is from Reds Army _John. It says, Marcus Smart says he's going to keep shooting, no matter what people say. Quote, I know I get a lot of shit, but who cares? It's well he should, man. Yeah, I mean, this is not new territory, bro. Y'all know what time it is. He gonna shoot him if he get him. I mean, as he should, right? Some of them will go in. Like, just say if he take 22 shots, 6 of them got to go in. You can bet 6 of them going in. So that's the Marcus Smart experience. People want to smooth out all the weaknesses of a player. They're like, listen, man, if Trae Young only played all NBA defense, if he played all NBA defense, he'd be the best player in the world. Like, we're not gonna have perfect players. Zion's 20 years old and hadn't developed a single part of his game. Don't you forget it. But the thing I think is funny about Marcus Smart shooting is that over his last 3 years, if he shoots corner threes, he good money. Good. Last 3 years, he's 37% from corner threes. This year, he's shooting 46% from corner threes. Those are the kinds he should be taking. But he don't take them. He hitting 46% of them, but only 16% of his threes are from the corners, which means he's shooting 84% of his threes from the much tougher areas. So it's a tough scene, Bronze. I really feel for you, man. Really, I do. But he's going to keep shooting them. Some of them will go in. He'll hit the big one, and everybody will like him again. But until then, I don't know. Next question from that Duff guy, Pat, swept in the JC. He said, let's talk about Bradley Beal. Is this putting up a casual 35 a game but having his team still getting housed every game? One of the best examples of any team, not just basketball, having their singular star player be easily one of the best of the league, but the rest of the team just stinks. Would love to hear some of your favorite instances of this. First one that came to mind for me was Tracy McGrady in Orlando. Now, you go back and look when he was winning them scoring titles, blowing them 3-1 leads. That boy ain't have no help. And he was getting 32 a game. One when 3, nobody realized 3 was more than 2. That wouldn't be realized for another 6 or 7 seasons. And also, I know the pace was slower. I feel like teams if you cracked 100, it was a big game. And he was getting 32. Like, that's really the crazy shit about Jordan, man. Like, you go back and look, Jordan was averaging 37. His team, for the whole game, the team was scoring 72. Like, that's just how the game was. So McGrady's up there. LeBron in Cleveland the first time, it was just mismatched parts around him. Barry Sanders, all of his career. Calvin Johnson, all of his career. Deshaun Watson, all of his career and currently. Hopefully he gets out of there soon. He just requested the trade, which is some good news. And Mike Trout. I feel like it got to be Mike Trout. Like, can't say I've watched him play, but if he's as good as they say he is, he'd be like a 15 WAR player. And it's like the Angels won 16 games this year. I said, damn. They got to get him some help. I know they tried with Pujols. I know they got Anthony Rendon. So he got to be one of them. But McGrady was the one that immediately came to mind, Pat, because that boy had some garbage around him. Next question. Speaking of players on bad teams, says, what are your thoughts on players on bad teams missing the All-Star game? Like, Bradley Beal leads the league in scoring, and many think he's not worthy of an All-Star spot. I think we need to start rewarding the individual success and not necessarily the team success. Interested to hear your thoughts. I agree. Like, I don't like the team being held against guys in terms of that. Like, last year, Trae started the All-Star game, and people didn't like that because his team stunk. It's like, listen, that's not his, or it's not all his fault, I'll say. Like, with the Wizards right now, you can't in good faith say that, like, he shouldn't because his team stinks when you see him doing everything he can. I saw it say they've lost 10 straight games where he scored 40 in. It's the longest streak in history. Right? So it's like, why is that held against him? I don't understand that. Like, rewarding teams for individual accolades is how you end up with Kyle Korver averaging 11 points a game and making the All-Star team. Or Jeff Teague, whatever year it was when every single Atlanta Hawk made the All-Star game. And I feel the same for All-NBA, right? Like, I thought this was a individual honor. I thought this was, personal accolades. Like, we watched the same games. and we acknowledge that a guy has no help and then knock him for not having any help. So I don't get it. I will say, if it's something to knock Bradley Beal on, it's for staying in D.C. where he could have been out, man. Like, he got to know that team is awful. Like, what did he think was going to happen, man? I get there, but you want to do it there. I read a quote. He said, "I hate change." Well, listen, ain't nothing changed as far as the Wizards getting their head busted every night. So, like, again, you got to pick one of them too, Daddy-O. A lot of Bradley Beal related questions. So this is, I guess, just the Bradley Beal portion of the show. Thriana Max says, Tyler, Beal deserves better than the Washington Wizards organization. With Westbrook playing like he has been, a shell of himself / hurt, they're not getting off his contract anytime soon, and he'll probably run out his contract in D.C. What's the best trade package you could think of for Washington? I added the best one I've seen so far. And the deal attached is a 3-teamer. Involves the 76ers, Wizards, and Nuggets. It has Bradley Beal going from the Wizards to the 76ers. It involves Ben Simmons going from the 76ers to the Nuggets. And it involves the Wizards getting JaMychal Green, Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr., a 2022 first round pick and 2024 first round pick, both from Denver, as well as a 2021 and 2023 first round pick from the 76ers. I don't hate that. I don't hate that for all sides. Because, I mean, the boy Bill, he's down really bad. Like, really, really bad. But, I mean, I think it's great for the Wizards, right? Like, Porter might be a star. You get 4 first-round picks. And, you know, Gary Harris, JaMychal Green's salary. 76ers get Bill. That's a win. Nuggets get Simmons. And he definitely helped. They definitely need any kind of, like, plus defender. But I do wonder, like, do you get to really unleash Simmons with Jokic doing most of, like, the ball handling, passing? Right? Like, I'd ultimately do that deal if I could turn Michael Porter into Ben Simmons, Michael Porter and, you know, a couple picks into Ben Simmons. I'd definitely do it, because I think it also allow you to turn Jamal into, like, full-time scorer. Like, Jamal just wouldn't even have to, like, you don't have to get nobody in the offense ever again, man. Like, just Simmons and Jokic do all that. So I don't hate it. I think the Heat definitely makes some sense. Like a big 3 of Butler, Beal, and Bam. Like, the Heat are good at finding, you know, those players in the margins. I think it would take, like, Harrow, Duncan Robinson, Precious Achiuwa, like, at minimum. And I don't know what picks like, that's the thing. I don't think Miami can trade picks right now. They owe some picks with protections on them. So I'm not sure, like, what the first number of pick, or excuse me, the first year of pick they could trade, but a couple of picks, I don't hate it. But I'd also say, if I'm Miami and I'm getting Bill, I think I'd ask for Bertans back. Right? Like, he's not cheap, but they've got, like, Iguodala, Myers Leonard, Kelly Olynyk, Dragic if necessary. Like, they can match that contract. You're giving up Harrow and Robinson, and Bam and Butler, not really floor spacers. So I think I'd ask for Bertans in there too. So the Heat makes some sense. Mavericks makes some sense, like a package around, like, Tim Hardaway for salary, Josh Green, Tyrell Terry, Jalen Brunson, all their young cats, and pretty much all their, like, non-Knicks pick, not the picks they sent to the Knicks for Porzingis. I think Boston would be a good fit. It would just have to be, like, around Kemba and picks. And, I mean, you know Danny Ainge's not giving that. Quiet as it's kept, the Celtics almost traded for every player in the league. Did y'all know that? Danny Ainge almost traded for Michael Jordan in 1987. He wasn't even a GM yet. But he was this close. I got my fingers real close together. He was so close to trading for Michael Jordan. Houston would be funny. Just run John Wall and Bradley Beal back out west. Right? Like, hey, this wasn't a bad premise, right? This time we just won't give $100 million to Otto Porter and draft terribly around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, P.J. Tucker probably be the best big man they ever played with. Nonetheless, Christian Wood. And they still got a couple of them picks. I don't hate Houston. OKC is interesting, just for, like, Horford for the money and some of those picks. Just like, hey, we're keeping Shai Gilgeous. We're keeping Lou Dort. Anybody else we can, you know, you want Poku or Basley, we can discuss that. Memphis we'll talk a little Memphis later. But I think Memphis is interesting. It'd be, pressing fast forward on the timeline. But they have the pieces. But of those, I think that like the 76ers just makes the most sense. I thought they should have traded for Harden. Like Harden's better than Beal, but he's also, I think, 5-6 years older. So if they could turn Simmons and a couple picks into Beal, but also keep Tyrese Maxey like that, I think they should probably do it. Mavericks, I don't know if they have enough. It would just be fun. Like I think Doncic, Beal, and Porzingis, and put a couple 3-and-D guys out there would be a lot of fun. And the Heat, those are probably my top 3. Got another one from Willie Law concerning Beal. It says, rank these unlikely Bradley Beal destinations. All these are names I haven't heard associated with him. Unlike Philly, Miami, Golden State, Dallas, Denver, LA. But they have a way to actually get him, unlike Milwaukee. And the teams he has listed are Utah, Portland, Toronto, New Orleans, Indiana, Phoenix, Memphis, Atlanta. 8 teams. So, in reverse order, and I'm guessing, like I'm trying to look at this from like Bradley Beal's perspective, right? Like I know he wants to get out of there. It sounds like he really does just want to compete. I don't know if he haven't, like, you normally hear about he wants big market, or he wants to get closer to California, or his agent did this and that. I haven't heard that about Bradley Beal. I feel like he's just like, can I play on a team where I don't have to do everything and we still lose, right? Like I'll do everything, but can we win some of the time? So in reverse order, from like least likely to most likely, I got Atlanta. I just like Trey and Beal together. That's just toast defensively. And for what you'd have to give up all the 3-and-D guys. It'd just be toast. Phoenix, I don't see it. Like they've got the construction of their team how they want it. Now whether it's the right construction, we'll see. But like they want like facilitator, Paul, finisher, Ayton, Booker, and then 3-and-D guys around him. I don't hate it. Like it's an identity for sure. There's no doubt about that. Portland, I like it would take McCollum, and I just don't know how much farther like Beal and Lillard go than Beal and McCollum. Right? Like they made the conference finals, got swept. With Beal, 1, do they make the conference finals? 2, like would they win it? I don't see it. I don't see that. Indiana, I feel like we're warming up a little bit. Because if you can make your big 3 Sabonis, Bradley Beal, and Brogdon, that's kind of 3 guys of different skills, and they can put a competent defense around them. They could compete. Toronto, I got after that. It probably cost some OG, so you'd be looking at Beal and Siakam. Not a whole lot else, but I just trust Masai Ujiri to, get those pieces around the margins, and I trust Nick Nurse to be able to use them correctly. Utah is interesting. If you're looking at Beal as like the Conley replacement, again, not ideal. I'd much rather live in D.C. than Salt Lake City. But you could do a lot worse than putting him, with Mitchell and Gobert. Again, you got more ball handling, a good defense, a good coach around him. New Orleans is interesting. I wanted them to at least kick the tires on Harden, just because they have enough to get into the mix without giving up Zion or Ingram. Now, that doesn't fix any of their defensive issues, not a one, but that's fun to watch. That's pretty fun to watch. And again, number 1 on this list, I'm coming back to Memphis, man. I'm just coming back to Memphis. And I was saying correct. There was a second part on Willie Law's question. He said also, if you could talk about how team loyalty is stupid, and just because Dirk got a chip by doing it doesn't mean you should too. Stop playing with your assigned group project and go play with your friends. You preach it to the choir, Willie. I've been saying this forever, man. Like, Dirk got the championship for sure. He a legend in Dallas, as he should be. And for his troubles, he didn't win a single playoff series after that championship. Right? Despite he made multiple All-Star games, he made multiple All-NBA teams, he gave up tens of millions of dollars to not win a single playoff series after that championship. Kevin Garnett lost in 7 straight first rounds. I'm so glad it wasn't like Twitter and Skip Bayless and Stephen A back then. 7 straight first rounds, right? 1 or 2, okay. Once you get to like 3 and 4, now he would have been up out of there. Which, it's a good thing, right? Why we want to watch him just waste away for 4 prime years, man? He could have been kicking ass in Boston or literally anywhere else. It was a time I thought he and AI was going to end up together, and I was going to be so thrilled. So thrilled. But no dice. Like, if your group project, like, if your teamwork is great, you know what I'm saying? You get assigned to a great group. Like, hey, I'm Larry Bird. I got Parrish and McHale and Dennis Johnson, and somehow we have the pick to draft Len Bias. Yeah, stay with that group. By all means, stay with that group. Jordan, again, laugh at Jerry Krause. He was a good GM. You can't take that away from him. All right? So if you go to leave, man, like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Is anybody, serious question, is anybody mad at James Harden for going to Brooklyn more than they're mad at the way he got there? Right? Like, they're showing up out of shape, what appeared to be out of shape, going to party with no mask, and throwing his teammates under the bus. Not great. Right? But is anybody mad at him for actually going there? Like, hey, maybe I just want to play in a big city with my friends. How about that? I feel like I haven't seen many people mad about that. Not to say that there aren't. And even if they are, who cares? People are mad. Like, I don't think nobody's going to get it worse than LeBron James did for going from Cleveland to Miami. Like, that's 1A. Nah, that's 1. 2 is Durant going to Golden State. I don't feel like there's a single, like, player that could go to a team that could get it worse than either of those 2 guys. And even then, people got over it. Or they didn't. Who cared? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you ask Durant, would he do it again? I'm 100% certain he would. And he should. That was some beautiful basketball. If you ask LeBron, would he do Miami again? I don't know if he'd do it the same way, but I absolutely think he'd go there, as he should. Right? Like, staying in a bad situation that you know is a bad situation, that don't make you tough. That don't make you more honorable. That don't make you cooler or anything like that. Like, the Lakers' whole strategy has been find an unhappy star big man, acquire him, win championships. And has any big that went to LA regretted it? Like, I'm trying to think of one. Wilt didn't regret it, won championships. Kareem didn't regret it, won championships. Shaq, Gasol, Dwight Howard. Now, it took Dwight two trips. He had to go to, you know what I'm saying, school and grad school. He had to come back around. But at the time, it was the obvious move. He was the best center in the league. And now AD, right? Like, you go there, who gonna yell at AD like, man, he couldn't win with the Pelicans? Yeah, so he got the fuck out of there. Isn't that what we want? That's what I want, right? If he wants to do it in Washington or wherever you're drafted at, cool, right? No problem. But once you see that it's just not gonna happen that way, man, you owe it to yourself to get out of there. I hope more people do. I'm 100% with Kyrie. I've been banging the drum. Get rid of the draft, man. Get rid of the draft. Just let people decide where they want to go. Well, some teams will never get players. Good. Why is that a bad thing? Bad teams will never get them, and bad teams don't deserve anything. So, you and me on the same page, Willie Law. We get these guys out of here. Get Beal to someone where he can score 35 and, I don't know, not lose by 15 points. I think that'd be all right. Next question. So Maxwell Klitsky, he's retired, you understand. Says, with Xavier Tillman Sr. starting to grow as one of the more underrated rookies this season. He was second in PER and rookie PER behind, of course, Mason Jones in Houston. Is now the time for the Grizzlies to start pushing to go all in. With John Triple J, seems like they've been one of these just wait teams, and the waiting needs to turn into results eventually. I'm in no way asking this question to make you say nice things about my Spartan baby boys. Listen, I got no problem. Like, Tillman, like, cliche, man, he just know how to play ball. I've never seen a undersized power forward from Michigan State to stay 3-4 years, come out and make an impact, get drafted in the second round and make an impact. That's never happened before. It's never happened before. So Xavier Tillman's really, you know what I'm saying, really groundbreaking, really, really blazing the trail there. And normally I'd say, like, there's no rush. John and Triple J are so young. And I'm team, you know what I'm saying, windows don't exist, right? Like, the plan is to, of course, keep these guys together for the next 15 years. Like, they both retired Grizzlies when they're 40. But that was also when I thought Ja was going to be out a lot longer than he was. He came back and he seemed like he's getting into form. Like they're currently, I think they're either the 5th or 6th seed. I know their offense is not good, but their defense is really good. Like I think number 2 or 3. So the more I think about it, man, I keep coming back to Memphis because I think they've got the capital. Like they're +2 on draft picks. They got a 2021 Utah first round pick from the Conley trade, and they got a 2024 Golden State pick, which that's a long way away, man. But it ain't your pick. Who cares? They got that from the Iguodala trade, right? So you throw those 2 picks in the mix, 2 more picks, and maybe 2 more pick swaps, right? Because they know they can find Memphis. I'm not even sure who their GM is, but they've shown they can find a Brandon Clark in the 20s. They can find Desmond Bane, last pick in the 1st round. They can find Tillman 2nd round, right? Like they can fill those pieces around them. Gorgie Dang and Justice Winslow, that covers the salary, right? And Bradley Beal's 27 years old. It ain't like he's like 35, like I got to compete now. I think he wants to compete, but if he goes there, they competing. They definitely competing. And again, I haven't heard of any teams he has on like a list or like he wants to go to A, B, and C. But just something to consider. Memphis is a lot closer to St. Louis than Washington, D.C. is. A lot of people want to neglect that. But it makes some sense. You'd still have a couple picks left over, right? And eventually you could still trade like Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, and a pick to get Tatum out of Boston to play within Memphis. So I think it's something to consider. Like I wouldn't necessarily press fast forward because again, they're playing playoff ball right now without Triple J. Right? I thought Ja was going to be out a lot longer. I was like, okay, get this 2021 pick, then come back and hit the ground running. They might be able to have their cake and eat it too. If they get into the playoffs, make it competitive, Triple J come back, and again, they know they can draft and find talent anywhere. What the hey? Because again, it ain't no such thing as windows, man. I love Triple J as a prospect, but he got to stay healthy. He's also got to rebound. Ja, I don't think he's had any injury issues before. Like, I don't think he had any injury red flags in college, but that guy played a reckless style. So betting on a tandem of guys for 8, 10, 12 years, that's for the birds. If they got a chance to make some hay now, I think they should definitely consider it. So I hear where you're coming from, Klitschke. I hear where you're coming from. Next question. And we're about to get out of here. I promise. We're about to get out of here. So what are some of your favorite podcasts? Who's Uncle Trilly listening to? I don't listen to a whole lot of podcasts. Like I listen to Zach Lowe and Windhorst. Like there's NBA news, something big goes down, somebody get traded, something like that. I listen to Right Time with Bomani. That was usually pretty good, especially, I'll recommend it again, the episode with Vernon Maxwell a couple weeks ago. Tremendous episode. I listened to Smarter Than the Average Bear, show I told you earlier. We've been doing the prop bets on Monday. I listened to Art of Boar. That's Wody, who was on Session Sheesh. I listened to his podcast. And that's really about it. I don't listen to a whole lot. And the podcasts I like to listen to are like under an hour. That's why when I go to work on this every week, I be thinking like, okay, hour to an hour and a half. And it never ends up that way. Because people are like, no, go long. We want you to go 6 hours. I said 6 hours, that's chaos. And then I just be talking, man. What can you do? But those are some of the podcasts I listen to. Next question from WB. WB says, how we doing, pal? Yesterday, I spent a large portion of the day watching videos and stories about Kobe and was frankly struck revisiting that it factor that he had. What's one story you have of a person you have interviewed, known, met, where you saw their it factor? Doesn't have to be a sports person. That it factor can translate to every part of life. Thanks. I'll see you in the next Twitch chat stream. We'll see you there, WB. Answer the first part first. How are we doing? Bad. Second part. This is something I've said it before, and it's not in the hindsight. It was Nipsey. We got to talk to Nipsey at the 2019, so 2 years ago now, All-Star game in Charlotte. And I remember like at the time, right after Coley and I talked about like just how, and Devlin talked about just how impressed we were with him. I remember telling my therapist about him, right? Because she's very much not she don't like West Coast hip hop, or any coast hip hop. So I just told her, like, you know, I was impressed with him and all that. And I remember, like, when he passed, I was like, do you remember the guy I told you I met last year? And she was like, he's the one that got shot. I was like, that was him. And it was just a thing. Like, all the guys that we meet and talk to, like, they're all rich. They're all famous. They're all in good shape and all that. So, like, that wasn't the it factor. He still just stood out. You know, it was just in the way that he carried himself. It was in the way that he, like, treated other people, right? Like, we were at this Puma thing, right? So they let us, like, upstairs so we could talk to people, you know, on the side without interference. And we talked to, like, DeAndre Ayton, a few more people were there. And all these people were, like, Ayton, all these people were, like, fine and polite and all that. But it was just like watching the way, like, when people like led Nipsey upstairs or like asking him, you know, you need a bottle of water or something. He was like legit, like look him in their eyes, tell him thank you, like he appreciated all that. Like the way he paid attention to like what you were talking about, like he actually answered what you were saying. Like again, those guys have done so many interviews. It's easy to just go into like airplane mode. I feel like he was actually sitting and like thinking about what, you know, the answer he was gonna give. I remember it was Yo Gotti was there, Trinidad James, Block Boy, a few other people were downstairs like shooting hoops, and he still just seemed like the star of the show. And I guess like that's the it factor, right? It's one of those things like I couldn't tell you what it was, but he was just different, man. I was so impressed with the way he carried himself, and I didn't realize until after he passed, I didn't realize how photogenic he was, man. I ain't never seen a bad picture of Nip. Now, I remember somebody on Twitter said it stuck with me. It said, that's the power of being comfortable in your own skin. And it made me realize maybe that's the it, right? I don't know if I've ever seen anybody more comfortable in his own skin. Again, he had, I don't know, a couple thousand racks just hanging out his back pocket, right? Like he was just living that life. The goals on his chest, everything he was rapping about, he was living it. But it wasn't like bragging. He wasn't doing it to flex. That was just him. That guy just seemed so ultimately comfortable in his own skin. So when you ask that WB, he was immediately, I would say the only person that comes to mind like that. That's where like you meet somebody and it's like, I don't know, they're just different. And you see and hear about the things he had going on and type of love that he had for his wife and his family. And it's like, yeah, that guy was just different. So it was definitely Nip. RIP to a real one. Next question comes from Tony B. Tony B says, I don't want you to get swept up in the current controversy. It's always a wild way to start a question. I don't want you to get swept up in the current controversy, but it'd be a real shame if you did a Twitch raid to an NWHL game this season and tried to help expand their audience. I'll be honest with you, Tony B. I had no idea what the NWHL was or the controversy was. So I read up on it, and I will gladly stay away from that. But y'all remind me, next time we getting a little puckly going on the stream, and they got a game going on, about to go on, remind me, say the word, and we'll pop over there. And in the meantime, I'm going to figure out how to do a Twitch raid because I don't know how to do one. But I'll figure it out. Handshake emoji. I'm going to start saying that out loud till they give us a black handshake emoji. Like, don't force my hand, Apple, because I'll do it. Next question from King JTR. JTR says, can a Hall of Fame really be a Hall of Fame if they let nobody in? And it's referring to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame this week, where they voted to put nobody in. Nobody going in this year. Like, they still have a ceremony and just be like, well, there'll be no names or speeches, none of that. But, we got hors d'oeuvres over there. Y'all get some punch. Some of them little bitty rectangle mints. Y'all remember them? They still make them? But I respect nobody getting in over them, like, forcing, like, a Harold Baines in. And no disrespect to Harold Baines, but if we're talking Hall of Fame, he probably shouldn't be in there. You know what I'm saying? He probably shouldn't be in there. And a related question was, are baseball writers / Hall of Fame voters the most self-involved people on the face of the planet? Also, I'd like to point out the irony of Baseball Hall of Fame voters, the Baseball Hall of Fame asking voters to consider integrity and character, and this guy still votes for Schilling. This guy, in the tweet reference, he linked a tweet from the MLB Network. It's a video of Tom Verducci. He's a writer and a Hall of Fame voter. He did a video for the MLB Network where he sat down, he opened up his ballot, talked about what goes into it, the voting requirements and all that. And he just said, it was just so, I don't know, grandiose, man. I don't even know the word for it. Like, he sat down like he was about to review some, like, death row pardons. Like, he about to write the Gettysburg Address or some shit. Like, I don't know. Also, ballots just being sent and returned via just snail mail. Like, what are we doing here? Like a Twitter poll would be more efficient. But he mentioned that 20,000 people have played in the majors. 132 have been voted in by the writers. That's 1/2 of 1%, right? So I do, like, to this extent, like, they keep their Hall of Fame elite of the elite, right? That's how rare it is. Like, okay, if we're talking cream of the crop, okay, I can get that. But then you let in Harold Baines. Again, no disrespect to Harry B. But Verducci, he voted for Curt Schilling, Jeff Kent, Scott Rowland, and Billy Wagner because he wanted to consider integrity and character and sportsmanship, all that. So I don't know how the hell Curt Schilling got in. He was a no on Bonds and Clemens. Now, David Ortiz is eligible next year. I think that'll be interesting. Because I feel like he had, like, the PED suspicions. I think he failed a test, but I don't think it was supposed to leak, if I have that correct. He's a pretty well-liked guy. So, I don't know how that'll go. Like, if you vote for him, how you going to tell Bonds Clemens no? We'll find out, because Bonds and Clemens are probably not going to get in the Hall of Fame. It's fine. But, so I looked at the ballot. I wanted to cast my ballot. I can be self-righteous, you know what I mean? I can pat my own self on the back, Verducci. You're not the only one. You can vote for no more than 10. I was probably like 20 names on there. I voted for I don't know. I voted for Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Sammy Sosa. Like, duh. Those are 3 no-brainers to me. I know, like, I understand the allegations or whatever against it. I get it. They're still in the Hall of Fame to me. Manny Ramirez. I voted for Manny Ramirez. The thing, I guess the only, like, debate I had with him, he tested positive for banned substances after the rules were in place, right? I think Bonds and Clemens were taking, like, substances that weren't officially banned yet, I think. And then Manny Ramirez, he tested positive twice in his later days. He had a 100-game suspension, right? But he retired. Was like, I'd rather retire than do a 100-game suspension. So he retired, but then he came back after the league agreed to cut it in half. The league just agreed to cut it in half. They were like, okay, all right, man. If you come back, you can only do 50 games. So do the rules matter or do they not? Right? Because them doing that tell me the rules don't matter. If the rules don't matter, then Manny Ramirez is in my Hall of Fame. 12 All-Star games, most postseason home runs ever, 9 Silver Sluggers for a right fielder. He's in my Hall of Fame. Andrew Jones. I can't believe Andrew Jones is not in. I can't believe it. And I think it was 538. Those geeks wrote an article about he should be in the Hall of Pretty Good, not the Hall of Fame. And this is why I pick on Harold Baines. Harold Baines retired with 21.2 wins above replacement. 21.2 WAR. He retired with that. Andrew Jones had 26.8 by his 4th full season. He was 23 years old. He was 23 years old. Okay. Hawk Dawson, Andre Dawson, made the Hall of Fame. He retired with 65 wins over replacement, or wins above replacement, over 21 years. Andrew Jones retired with 61 in 11 years, right? So Andrew Jones' biggest mistake was not hanging on another 10 years. And in the 538 article, they knocked him for 2 things. 1, they knocked him because he fell off sooner than other Hall of Famers. And 2, they knocked him because he said he may have been overrated defensively compared to his historical counterparts. So I would say, first off, if he's going to be knocked for falling off sooner than other Hall of Famers, then does he get any credit for contributing sooner than other Hall of Famers? Because at 19 years old, Andrew Jones was like getting his feet wet for a 96 win team that made the World Series. At 20, he played in 150 games for a team that won 101 games. At 21, he hit 30 home runs and started winning Gold Gloves for a team that won 106 games. Right? So if he gets credit for falling off, it's like, yeah, a decade of high play and being the best defensive center fielder of his era, if not all time, yeah, that'll do it. It's a wonder he did. Yeah, by 32, he was cooked. He was like 13 long season. I say the wins, like 100 wins means you going into the postseason. Them some long seasons. So as a second part, like you can't make up the numbers, the nerd numbers, and then hold the nerd numbers against him. Like he had more defensive runs above average than anyone at center field. Anyone. The gap between him at number 1 to number 2, Willie Mays, is bigger than the gap from Willie Mays number 2 to number 16. That's how big the gap was. That he was comfortably the best defensive center fielder by this metric, at least. And a quote from the article said, similar to how Hall of Pretty Darn Good member Todd Helton had stats that were too good to believe, Jones' defensive metrics have crossed the line from impressive to suspicious. Bill James, everyone's favorite, has argued that Jones' numbers are inflated relative to the best fielders of earlier eras, say Willie Mays, because the defensive data from Jones' era is much better, and therefore we can have more confidence in it, making the range between the best and the worst fielders wider for modern players. Okay, one, whose fucking fault is that? Right? Y'all invented the numbers. Y'all say the numbers are much better, so if they're testing him at number 1, that's when it says it's fishy. He's too good. And also, are we comparing guys like to all-time peers or their current peers? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like all-time guys at their position or their current peers at their position? Because I got some bad news. Clayton Kershaw, a great pitcher. I don't think he's going to catch Cy Young's 500 wins. I'm sorry to say it, but I just don't think he gets there. Like Mike Trout, I don't know if he hits 770 home runs. I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? And again, Jones was that much better than his own peers. And also any center fielder all time defensively. So Andrew Jones is in my Hall of Fame. I feel like he should definitely be in there. And Billy Wagner. I put Billy Wagner in there. I was unsure, but I did more research. He was first in strikeout percentage, first in strikeouts per 9 innings, first in batting average against, second in OPS plus, ERA plus. I don't know what those are, but listen, you can't give me the nerd numbers and then rule against them. And whip, I know what whip is. He's second in that, third in ERA, and third in slugging percentage against, right? And he retired after an all-star season to spend time with his family. Like, again, like Andrew Jones, you should have just played like 10 more terrible years, just ran up some WAR that nobody cared about. If he did that instead of retiring after an all-star season, he'd probably be in. So I got him in. He's in my Hall of Fame. I voted no on Todd Helton, Curt Schilling, Gary Sheffield, Jeff Kent, Omar Vizquel. I actually had Omar Vizquel in till I was doing my research on him, and he has multiple domestic abuse allegations against him from his wife. So, again, we're taking character, integrity, all that. You're out. Scott Rowland was a no, though close. He was probably the toughest cut, and ultimately I think he probably gets in a couple years. Bobby Abreu was a no. Torrey Hunter was another one I was close on till I looked him up. I found out he got multiple homophobic comments, right? Supporting homophobic candidates in political office. So that's no dice. No on Mark Burley and Tim Hudson. But that's my ballot. That's my self-righteous ballot. Do you feel good about me? I feel good about me after doing the tough duty that it is to vote people into the Hall of Fame that nobody cares about because the best players aren't actually in. Next question from that Duff guy Pat, and we're about to wrap it up. Hand to God. So have you thought about how similar our JCs, the Jam contest, sounds a lot like the Ham contest? I'll hang up and listen. And I say yes. I've considered it, yes. Oh, yes. And it's a little bittersweet, right? Pandemic has delayed the Ham contest another year. And I think it's time to hang it up, man. I really do. Let the younger guys have a chance. I remember at my first Ham contest, the late, great Pigmeat Markham pulled me aside, and he said, you got to know when to hold them, and know when to fold them. You got to know when to walk away, is what he said to me. And if I just keeping on, you know what I'm saying? Am I any better than the Fabulous Moolah? Right? Fabulous Moolah was a famous women's wrestler, and she refused to let anybody younger than her win the championship. She held the belt for like 30 years, right? There's no growth in the game if you got the same champ for 30 years. Nobody else even gets a chance. So am I any better than her? I mean, outside of, the physical and sexual exploitation of dozens of young women that work for her. But outside of that, am I any better than her? I feel like I'm holding the game back. So we're not going to do it if we can't have fans in the stands. It's not genuine. It's not the real deal. So I think I retire. I think it's my time. No ham contest. But jam contest this Saturday evening after Fireside Chat. It'll probably be 10:30, 10:45-ish. Myself and JTR are going against each other. I might retire from the jam contest too. I don't know. I'm just quitting things right now, and it feels great. But we'll see. Question from Hob. Hob says, who's your biggest what-if athlete? Like Bo Jackson with the hip, Josh Gordon, Justin Blackmon, Len Bias, etc. And I think it's got to be Len Bias. Like, you would just be dropping a stud onto a current title team. Like if James Wiseman, who just went number 2, if he got drafted to the Warriors that still had Clay and Kevin Durant and they were all healthy, and then he died of a drug overdose, that's what it would be like. So it's got he would be the counterpart, the rival for the natural rival for Jordan. I feel like Jordan's rivals. They were a little older than him or a little younger than him. Bias would have been right there and would have had the horses to run with him immediately. So Len Bias, Brandon Roy was another one. Brandon Roy, he's only 36 right now. He was in the same draft class as LaMarcus Aldridge, Rudy Gay, JJ Redick, Rondo, PJ Tucker, Millsap, Kyle Lowry, guys that are still playing, contributing. And he had 3 All-Star teams and 2 All-NBA teams by 25. By the age of 25. And after that, he played 52 more career games. So he's up there. Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor are up there. Yao Ming, right? Yao had 7 All-Star games, which, he was getting all the worldwide votes, but he had 5 All-NBA teams by 28. By the age of 28. And he played 5 NBA games after that. And I loved watching Yao play. So he's up there. And Sterling Sharp, Shannon's older brother, had 5 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros, 3-time reception leader, 2-time touchdown leader. And he was done by 29 because of, I think it was either a neck or a back injury. And, yeah, he was just done. He didn't get to, win the championship with Favre. I think it was 2 years later. He would have ran up some numbers. So those are the ones that immediately came to mind for me. Next question. What sports moment is cooler? Buzzer beating shot, last second touchdown, or walk-off home run? In this scenario, it's the last game of the season. Final Super Bowl World Series. And I think it's got to be baseball, man. Stephon Diggs, the Minneapolis Miracle. Imagine that, but to win the Super Bowl. That'd be amazing, of course. But Super Bowl, a neutral site, that takes away from some of it. Unless Mike Evans does it in the Super Bowl this year, which is in Tampa. And even then, the people there, they're not Bucs fans. It won't be a full house. It'll only be 20 to 25,000 people in a pandemic. Something light. Second, the game-winning shot. If Dame Lillard's game-winning shots or series-ending shots were just as the time expired in the finals, that'd be great. Both of his shots were in Portland. The Oklahoma City one, if that was in Oklahoma City at the time, that would have been incredible. Kyrie is probably the closest I've seen. And his was, I think, 50-something seconds left. Right? And he did it in Golden State, which is, I think about it for basketball, I think it's probably got to be colder than doing it at home. Same for Jordan. He gets credit for the last shot over Russell, but the whole sequence. He hit a layup with 37 seconds to bring him from being down 3 to down 1. Stole the ball from Malone with 20 seconds left. Comes down and hits the jumper with 5 seconds left. Again, on the road. Just hushed white faces in the background. And even both of those still pale to Joe Carter. Toronto Blue Jays, Game 6. They were up 3-2 in the series, but they were down 6-5, bottom of the ninth, at home. He going against Mitch Williams. He's 0 for 4 in his career. Never got a hit off Mitch Williams. Count was 2-2. He's one strike away from getting out of trouble. And Joe Carter put one over the left field fence. And it was one of those, like, they knew it as soon as he hit it. So he's, like, hopping around. He's, like, so hyped going around the bases. They got to remind him, like, hey, man, you got to touch all the bases. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. So, yeah, give me game-winning home run. Like Bill Mazeroski did it back in the 50s, and Joe Carter, I'd love to see a game-winning home run. So give me that one. 2 wildly unrelated questions. His words, not mine. So can you compare the formats of the Fun Report and Mixtape, looking at how one had 2 people that could bullshit with each other versus doing this solo, but also having the community that has been built here? And 2, how does a team make Lonzo work? Good defender and passer, but inefficient offensively and terrible at free throws. I'll say the differences are, 1-0 prep for Mixtape versus some prep for the Phone Report. All right, like when Mixtape started, we would like text each other a couple topics before we jumped on, and that didn't last very long. It ended with us kind of just going in blind, and sometimes we have the same things that we want to talk about, but for the most part, we just went in blind. Like I tried to really only have notes if it was like stats or quoting something that needed to be specific. And part of that was like, it really was just like a conversation that happened to be recorded. And whatever was on each of our lists would always lead to something else random, which would lead to something else random. And you could play off the energy of another person, all that. So it's different versus this. This is more like it feels like a routine. Or like a routine I put together throughout the week. Like I workshop some stuff on Twitter, in the Twitch, and the Discord, see what's hot. I ask the questions, try to get the input. And the community helps for sure. But like when it's recording time, it's just me, right? Like the energy the show has is whatever energy I bring to it. And I'm just a low energy person by genetics. I don't know. So I can't bank on, hearing like a terrible take from the McMahon flying off my handle. But it's also why like I appreciate, Splash Brothers jumping in, and today Black King and El Braz jumping in to kind of break it up. Like I hate the sound of my own voice. I've never listened to it ever. I can't imagine I ever will. So I'd like to hope that breaks up some of the monotony. And the second part, Lonzo, man, it hadn't been great. He hadn't been great. Like he's not shot well at all, but he's also playing on a team with like 2 other non-shooters. And like not only non-shooters, non-real threats to shoot. Like Zion Williamson and Steven Adams, like they don't shoot and they're not threats to shoot. So you can't really there's no pick and roll there. They just go under and stop the roll. They don't care about Lonzo shooting. And that's why I wanted, like if they're going to go get a center, I wanted to get like Miles Turner. Somebody that can move his feet on defense, but you can run a pick and pop with him. You can't do that with Adams. So I think he's got to go somewhere where he has like the keys to the car and you got to have the keys to run everything and some space. I say the same to like Simmons or older Rondo, right? Like you trust they make the right decision just enough times. And they do other stuff, rebounding, cutting, defending at a plus level to justify giving them the keys. Otherwise, you turn into like Elfrid Payton or like Rubio, right? Like Rubio can run an offense. He can defend well, great passer, but he's just not a threat to shoot. I feel like there's always going to be a limit on how good a Ricky Rubio ran offense can be just because he's just not a threat to shoot. And it's easier said than done, to find somewhere for Lonzo and give him the keys. I thought Chicago. I still wouldn't hate Chicago. I still just think they need a table setter. The Jazz to replace Mike Conley is interesting. Warriors is interesting because next year, like Clay and Steph, like that's the spacing. That's all the spacing you need. You know what I'm saying? Like Dallas last year, they gave Luka the ball and space. They took 41 threes a game last year, hit 37% of them. It was the best offense, most efficient offense of all time. And this year they're taking 37 threes, but they're only hitting 33% of them. The 15th ranked offense. And of course, like Lonzo's not Luka, but that's just what kind of jump like a great passer surrounded by great shootings, great shooting can make. But a big difference is, like after the pick and whatever, Luka's a threat to just go all the way to the basket. And he can score there. Lonzo's not. He's at 1 free throw a game for his career, and I think he's still hitting like less than 50% of them. Like not being a threat off the dribble is like crippling in this offense or in this NBA, like a modern offense. And I think it's even worse than like if you got a guy who's just not a 3-point shooter, right? You can kind of plan around that. Like Westbrook was never a good shooter, but if he went inside the 3-point line, you better have all hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? You got to guard him with the attention of a shooter because he'll just go all the way in. Lonzo, you don't have to do that. So I hope he can get it right. He hasn't looked good this year, but he's got to prove that last year's shooting numbers weren't a fluke. And we'll see. We shall see. That was the last question for today, guys. 2 brief things I want to say. One, I've seen a lot. I say a lot. It happens every once in a while. There was a video this week of a man in a store. He offered to pay for a woman's groceries, and she declined, and he attacked her. I think he and a friend of his attacked her. I didn't watch the whole video. It was tough to watch. I didn't watch the whole video, but I think they followed her outside, chased her down. They tried to gouge her eyeball out. It was all bad. And the response to that was a lot of hey, women, get guns and knives and mace and all that stuff. And I think that's a part of it too, right? But this is a problem I feel like it has to be fought from all sides of the matter. You know what I'm saying? You could tell a woman to get a gun and have a knife or whatever on her to be prepared. Nothing wrong with that. But I found out that more likely than not, these weapons are used against women, right? They're trying to use it against somebody who's a lot bigger, stronger than them. So maybe that's not the complete answer. Maybe we just have to tell men to stop doing this shit. You know what I mean? And I say it here because I know there's a few women that listen. I know it's not none in the Discord. Y'all ran all them off. Brother. But it's on us, man. It's on us. The woman in line getting attacked and harassed and all that, it was other men in that store. And I've long said it. People are pussy, man. If somebody was just hey, man, chill out with that. Because a lot of times, and I know you've seen it, men will respect the words of another man, right? But not the words of a woman. If a woman says she has a boyfriend, sometimes a man will respect that man they don't even know over the woman that they standing there talking to. So it's on us. It's on us. And I include myself in with that, right? We can tell women to get a gun and be prepared and all that, and that's one side of it. But it's also going to have to come from hey, how about we tell men not to do this kind of stuff? And I know nobody in here knows a rapist the same way nobody knows a racist, but they're all still out here, right? So if they're not in your circle, that's a good thing. But that means they're still out here, right? So if you see somebody at the store making somebody feel uncomfortable, do your part. Again, sometimes I really do think it's enough to just be hey, somebody's watching you, right? A lot of times they do these things because they think nobody gonna come to her defense. And what do you know? They didn't. And this woman got attacked for declining a man's advances. Hey, just take no, man. You know what I'm saying? Take no. Women get called emotional, but men get turned down for a number and lose their shit. So it's on us. That was the first thing I wanted to say. Second thing I wanted to say, R.I.P. to Sekou Smith, man. R.I.P. to him. He, NBA.com, or I guess NBA TV, he was on there, did some writing as well. He passed this week from COVID. I think he was 40-something. That guy wasn't yet 50. And he was nice enough to come on Mixtape in our early days, right? Before we even had any type of players. When we were, I won't say we ever got good at interviewing, but I know we was extra horrible back then. And it couldn't have been nicer. Could not have been nicer. And he was you guys are cool, man. And that meant so much at that time. Just starting out, trying to interview and get people to talk to us. So him saying that we were cool, that meant a lot coming from somebody like him. And it's one of those things, the only reason he did that was because he wanted to. There was nothing, we couldn't offer him any publicity or nothing that he didn't already have. He just did that out of the kindness of his heart. And with all the things I've read from him and seen online, Twitter, all that, I spoke about the media earlier. I've never seen him like shit on players, right? Or call a guy a bitch like we've seen it. I've never seen anything other than him being extremely nice to people, being extremely helpful to people in the industry, especially young people, especially young black people in the industry. People had emails from years ago where they just randomly sent him an email looking for some tips, and he emailed back. Like I think he just genuinely wanted to see people win, especially people that look like him. So, RIP to a real one. If you got some good vibes, energy, prayers, or whatnot, send them up. Because that man got a wife and I believe 3 children still here. So, RIP to him. And with that, I will, every week, I will beg you to take this shit seriously. That man was doing like content a couple weeks ago. People were posting pictures like, man, I literally just saw this guy. And now he's gone. Everything he ever did is gone forever. So I'm begging you, please take this seriously. Social distance. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Like all that. We all getting fed up. I get it. But it's not going to stop. Right? This shit is not going to stop. You see that the officials, the people sworn to try to protect us from this stuff are not going to. So we got to do what we can do. So wash your mask. Wear your hands. Y'all know the vibes. Appreciate y'all as always. We'll catch you next week. Yeah.